capital Pyongyang because of what is described as a respiratory illness.
North Korea only declared its first outbreak of coronavirus in May last year, and within a few months it claimed to have eradicated it. Today's lockdown order, which has been seen by the North Korean monitoring service NK News, refers not to COVID, but to rising cases of respiratory illnesses. Today's notice bans residents from leaving their homes until Sunday night. We don't know how many people have caught or died of COVID in North Korea, partly because the authorities themselves don't know. They haven't developed a mass testing system.
That's BBC's Jean McKenzie. With threatening phone calls, burned vehicles, drivers shot to death, street gangs closely tied to Central America imposing their brand of terror-based extortion on public transit drivers in southern Mexico. Townhall.com. A small Dutch village, the scene of an old-fashioned treasure hunt.
A hand-drawn map with a red letter X purportedly showing the location of a buried stash of precious jewelry looted by Nazis from a blown-up bank vault has sparked a modern-day treasure hunt in a tiny Dutch village. Prospectors have descended on Omeram wielding metal detectors, shovels, and copies of the map on cell phones. They're trying to dig up a potential World War II trove based on the drawing that was first published on January 3rd. So far, nobody has reported finding anything. The village has a population of 715 and is about 50 miles southeast of Amsterdam. Keith Peters reporting.
Microsoft reporting a 12% drop in profits for the October through December quarter, reflecting the economic uncertainty, it says, led to its decision to cut 10,000 workers, roughly 5% of its global workforce. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
And we do mean happy.
Yeah.
Sincerely.
It is a deep desire for you to be happy.
That's right.
Today.
From the subcockles of our heart.
Yes, from the hearts of our bottom.
Mm-hmm. From the hearts of our bottom.
We do appreciate
Forgot about that one.
Yes. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope all of you are having an amazing day so far.
I gotta tell you, I am. I actually got a full night's sleep.
Good for you.
I utilized an alarm for the first time in a really long time.
Nice.
It was amazing.
So what was the reason for last night?
I don't know. Well,
sleep?
probably because, okay, so the night before I got like 3 hours of sleep. I just could not.
Okay.
I could not stay asleep.
So you might have been extra tired.
I was definitely extra tired. Yeah. But I just assumed, I just chalked it up to to the universe and being like, well, I guess this is me now. So a full night's sleep for me, that's a huge thing.
Well, good.
Oh, I feel refreshed.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. So I actually slept pretty good too, but because my alarm went off. I wake up a few minutes, but my alarm did sound off this morning. Although I was up like an hour before it, and was like, and it was one of those like, I want to get up, but I got to get up in like an hour, 45 minutes. Just go lay down. I'll just lay here and relax. The next thing you know, boop, boop, boop.
The night before was the exact opposite. It's like my eyes were open at 3:30 in the morning, and I just kept. I pushed myself back into sleep, and then would wake up every 30 minutes just to look at the clock and be like, "Is it time to officially stop this now?" Because it wasn't accomplishing anything.
But you had the night before, at least that's what you told me, and I've experienced it too, where you fall asleep, your normal sleep time, and you wake up thinking you've slept all night, and you've only slept like 3 hours.
Yep. Woke up and it was literally like 1 o'clock. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. I've done that a time or two as well. And then those are the times I usually end up watching something on HBO at 2 in the morning for about an hour. And then you're like, all right, let's go back to sleep. So that's when you find the most unusual things to watch on TV at 1 in the morning. Even when you have satellite and 500 channels, there's still a bevy of wow.
Yeah. No, half the time I'll just pop something that's just like a meandering voice onto like the YouTube on my phone, and then just fall back to sleep to that.
Yeah. Although, if you do have like HBO or stuff, that's when you find out. Like 2 in the morning, they show movies like Gleaming the Cube, and you're like, "Whoa, I haven't seen this movie in 50 years."
Are you somebody that can fall asleep in silence?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
See, that's amazing to me. That blows my mind that somebody can fall asleep in a silent room.
Well, in all fairness, I also was in the military.
I was going to say, yeah, you were forced to fall asleep under duress.
I fell asleep in weird places, man. I slept, in a normal situation, it's in a tent with 12 other dudes.
Sure. I think because of all my time in radio, I have a bit of tinnitus to the point where I have to have, like, I stayed at a friend's house. And this is years and years ago. We stayed at a friend's house, and the room that we were sleeping in was completely silent. Yeah. So I pulled up on my phone an 8-hour YouTube video of an oscillating fan.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep to the sound on my phone of a fan.
There was a bit for a while there where we would play like thunderstorms or rain or
that's
campfire
my go-to.
noises.
Thunderstorm is my go-to.
Yeah, campfire noises is a good one. Babbling Brook, although you tend to have to pee sometimes on that one.
Which is funny because it's sometimes you find out like your kid is these are the times you find out your kid is so much like you. Yeah. Because I woke up the other morning and my daughter was she fell asleep to it was a 9-hour video, and I'm see if I can find it real quick. It was.
But in all fairness, my ceiling fan's going every night, regardless of temperature.
This is what I hear coming out of my daughter's room at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it just make you want to fall right asleep?
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty impressive that not only did she like land on that, but it worked. She was.
That's what you heard.
She was conked out, dude.
Nice.
So yeah.
Take a note, Dad.
Yep. Little tiny tinnitus.
When she gets cranky and irony, just kind of you're getting a little fighty with you. Just slip that on the background.
Put on the binaural beats.
Like, just sit here a minute, sweetie. You'll be all right.
Just gonna relax.
You'll pass right out.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Well, happy Wednesday. However you woke up this morning, welcome to Wednesday. I hope you're having a great day. We do have a full slate. We're gonna replay our interview with Tracy Fry from the library. She joined us Friday. Gives an update what's happening the next couple of weeks there and into February. So we'll play that here for you. The 8 o'clock hour has us scheduled to have the folks from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeast New Mexico join us, give us an update on there. So imagine Kim will drop in and give us an update. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, the folks from American Legion Post 61 going to join us and give us an update what they got going on. Of course, in February, we got the Fort Chaplain ceremony, which we'll talk a little bit more about and all that, too, which reminds me I'm supposed to do some work for them that I haven't done yet, which they'll yell at me for in the 9 o'clock hour.
It's funny, the Fort Chaplains comes up every single year, and it's like, wow, it's already that time of year?
February.
It's like, wow. It comes out of nowhere.
It's a great story if you're not familiar with it.
It really is. It's a really cool story.
I've done it a few times.
Okay, now listen. The premise sounds like a setup for a joke. It really does. It's like a priest, a minister, and a rabbi.
Yeah.
It sounds like the setup for a joke.
It does. It does. But except walking into a bar.
Oh, yeah, they're not walking into a bar.
They're on a ship. Right. So, but yeah, it's a very good story, and it's one that because of the time in which the events occurred, they didn't qualify for Medal of Honor status, even though all 4 of these religious leaders.
Yep.
I was going to say pastors, but that's technically not the right
Right.
term. For all four of these individuals, it's just a great story.
It really is.
It's very, it's great and sad, but it is also inspiring.
Well, that's the thing is the most. Sometimes the saddest stories are honestly the ones that are the most powerful, the ones that have the most motion, the most movement.
Basically, without giving all the details of the story, they were on the USS Dorchester, and the ship was crossing the Atlantic to go to the war, the World War II, and it was attacked by German boats and things, and the ship was going down, and these four chaplains basically kept everybody calm and got as many people, gave up their life jackets and everything to get as many people off the boat as possible before
Spoiler alert.
going down with the boat and passing away. If you do a Google search for four chaplains, you can read the entire story there.
It really is. It's worth
that's in essence what the story is, but it's a very inspiring story.
Oh, it's an amazing story.
But we'll talk more about it in the 9 o'clock.
I was going to ask you a question, but literally as I was like formulating in my head, I already know the answer.
Yeah,
and that is, what's the one movie that you've cried the most on? And I already know the answer. So go ahead.
To be honest, the one that gets me every time is Rudy.
There it is. I knew it. That's because I know you, man. I know you. I was like, he's going to say Rudy.
Yeah,
What's the point of asking? He's going to say Rudy.
It's Rudy, man. that when they're carrying him off the field, and you got Rock there going, you're 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing. I was like, oh, you get me.
That's fun. Yep.
It gets me every time. They carry Rudy off the field. You're like, oh, spoiler. Sorry on that one. Spoiler.
Now here's the test. What's mine?
I feel it's one of these Nicholas Sparks movies.
Go ahead.
Is it like Walk to Remember or something?
There it is. There it is. Walk to Remember, dude. That movie gets me every time, and I'll tell you why. I'm madly in love with Mandy Moore, and the whole character arc of Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just that, and then the relationship between the Shane Smith character and his dad.
Yeah.
That gets me every friggin' time. So this is what I'm saying. This right here. This is how you know we have chemistry.
Yes.
When we know the movie that makes each other cry the most.
You know one that's more embarrassing for me? That gets me every time? Or gets me almost every time. I kind of like, all right, stop. Just ridiculous. League of Their Own. At
Really?
the very end.
Okay.
When they're all old and we lose some and we got some and they're all walking into the new section of the Baseball Hall of Fame for women in baseball and they're all reliving the memories and then you see what's his name's son, one of the lady's sons looking at it and all that. So I just realized, we're gonna readjust that.
Call an audible.
Yeah, so I forgot to write that one down.
That's all right.
But yeah, so that every time A League of Their Own gets me at the end.
It's funny. That was a trope for a long time in movies. Was at the end of the movie, just watch the characters fade away and tell the backstory. Because they did that in Sandlot. They did that in Stand By Me. It was like, or a bunch of those movies were like, we never heard from him again. They just like tell the end of the movie is like Richard Dreyfuss doing the narration.
Oh yeah.
Essentially.
Oh,
that was Stand By Me.
Yeah, Stand By Me is like that.
Sandlot was very much like that.
Yeah,
matter of fact, if you watch the end of the Wonder Years, like the last
Wonder Years
it was
has that
very much like that.
Yeah, that's Christmas Story.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are very much in that same vein as well too. So
we don't have time to tell the last part of the story, so we'll just tell it in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. But Stand By Me is probably the best one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
That movie, to me, that movie's always been underrated for something because it's a great movie. It's I haven't seen it in years, but you could easily pop it.
No, it 100% holds up.
Yeah, you could watch it today and you'd be equally moved and enjoy the story. Because it's a period piece to begin with.
Right.
So even in the 80s when it came out, it was set in the 50s, I think, or 60s. I don't remember what the timeline of the book is.
Everybody of that certain generation of the streetlight generations, where it's like you went back in when the streetlights turned on.
Yeah.
They always had that story of like, oh, Jimmy knows a guy who saw a dead body. You know, it's like everybody has those stories growing up. So it's kind of, it connects on that level.
I'm saying I'm at the end of that generation. When I was a kid, that was literally the rule. Come on when the street lights come on. Goat man in the woods.
You say you were the end, but I grew up in like rural, Oklahoma, so it extended a little further.
Okay.
It's kind of like how Roswell's 10 years behind everybody else.
Yeah.
Medill was like 20 years behind the rest of society. So we were very much that, like, we'll play in the woods till the streetlights come on.
Yeah, that's kind of, and to be honest, that was only in the early neighborhood when I was real little. By the time we moved to the southern part of Maryland, there was no streetlights in the neighborhood. It was kind of rural. And so everyone's house had 2 lamps. One by the door, and then there was like a posted lamp in the driveway / yard area. And so everyone turned those on at night. So that was when I turn the light on, your butt better be inside, kind of thing. But half the time at that time we lived in a neighborhood that was still under construction. So and we were like one of the first 2 or 3 houses in the neighborhood. So like the first year there was not a lot of friends. Just a whole lot of me in construction. So I actually buddied up with construction workers and they let me like play with the architect equipment and like surveying and do. I was a kid. I wasn't stealing crap. So they hung out with them. And so and then some friends came and then we played Army and all that. But we were never in front of the house. We were always half a mile away or a mile away or wherever somewhere. But the street lights start coming on. You're like, I got to start heading back.
It was the Wild West. Parents didn't know where their kids were half the time.
We looked like Hell's Angels on Huffies, just 30 of us going on bikes down the street,
I would love to be able to raise my children the way that I was raised. It's just not socially acceptable anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just let your kids go out and play.
That's all we did.
I do that because I live in a pretty relatively like close-knit community. And I let my kids go out and play with the kids on our block without me being like physically there to watch them. But at the same time, every like 3-4 minutes, I'm opening the door, making sure everything's good, checking like that I know where they're at. The idea of my kids being out of where we're at is completely blows my mind.
Yeah, it's a different mindset.
Parents were like, parents had it good back in the day.
So slight change.
Yep.
I goofed up there, but audible. Sorry, audible. Calling it on the play. Kevin Maver's going to join us here in just a bit, City Development Director, and give us an update on what happened at their last development meeting and talk about updates here. Before we do that, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather, which we still technically are in a winter weather advisory until about 9 this morning. But I'm pretty much say that part's over for today. But here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks pretty good over the next couple of days. Low pressure is out of the way, and we have high pressure building over the central Rockies, and that'll be covering us with sunshine today. Afternoon high in the low to mid 40s. Few clouds for the overnight hours and low 20s, and then we get sunshine for Thursday. We'll stay in the low 40s for the afternoon high. Upper 40s to low 50s and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thanks, Steve. Currently 29 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 89%. Winds calm at the moment. As I mentioned, weather advisory remaining in effect through 9 a.m. this morning. But I think that's because when you wake up here and you're driving around, you might see some black ice and things, so be careful. Roads are pretty clear, but, it was cold last night, and we had snow yesterday, and it all melted, so you do that math. It's going to leave some ice around. But mostly sunny for today, not getting a whole lot warm. 45 are our expected high, west winds 5 to 10. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 20, north winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly sunny, 43 for a high, so still not any warmer tomorrow. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 17. Friday, sunny and a high of 49. Excuse me, I was trying to fight that sucker. And then Friday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 21. And then for the weekend, we'll be in the 50s, which will feel nice compared to the 40s this week. For Saturday, mostly sunny and 56. For Sunday, sunny and 57. And looks like we'll float around in the upper 50s for the first part of next week as well, too. But 40s for the next couple days. All right, 7:22. We're going to take about a 3.5, 4-minute commercial break, And then Kevin Mavers, City Development Director, will join us on the other side. Don't go away.
If your car breaks down, no need to cry, because there's always a pal nearby at Big O. At Big O Tires. Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. Big O Tires. Don't need to sweat any extra labor. You can always trust a good neighbor at Big O. At Big O Tires. The best service is part of our code. Need a cup of sugar? We're down the road at Big O. At Big O Tires.
Hurry into your local Big O Tires now through January 29th and buy 3 tires, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock Nexen or Aspen tires with installation purchase. That's right. Buy 3, get 1 free. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required, not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Drive into 2023 with a little extra fold-in money during Sell-Off Mania at Roswell Honda. With savings across the lot, like a 2015 Toyota Camry for just $289 a month, a 2017 Kia Optima for just $259 a month, or a 2016 Hyundai Elantra for just $189 a month. Get a 12-pack and grab cash from the Cash Cube just for stopping by, a gas card or a smartwatch with a test drive, and an Amazon gift card with any purchase. And sign up to win a $400 Visa gift card to be given away Saturday, January 28th at 1 p.m. Sell-Off Mania, on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
With the hustle, bustle, and bright lights of the holidays in the rearview mirror, it's time to ease into the new year with a new car or truck from your friends at Roswell Ford. Because nobody makes car buying easier. With more than 500 pre-owned vehicles in stock and brand new units arriving all the time, finding the perfect vehicle is easy. A 3-day money-back guarantee on all pre-owned vehicles makes the decision easy. No payments for 90 days easily gives you time to put those holiday expenses behind you. And with a goal of 100% credit approval, Roswell Ford even makes financing easy, regardless of your credit situation. And we happily accept I-10s. Like I said, easy. So make some time and come see what we have for you at the Tailgate Nation. Whatever you're looking for, you can count on Roswell Ford to keep it simple and make it easy. We're waiting for you now at the corner of 9th and Main, so we're even easy to find.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:26, and joining us in studio this morning, Kevin Mavers, City Development Director, joining us in studio, as he does each and every month here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
How are you doing today?
Trying to stay warm.
It is, we're not used to 40s for a high. That's not, we're not supposed to get that here.
I'm not even used to 40s for a low. Yeah. So the weather the past couple of weeks has been a bit challenging for both myself and my wife, but we're adapting.
Well, good news is it doesn't stick around long. Give it a blink and it'll change. Like I imagine here in a week or two we're going to be talking about 75 and everything else. It's just southeast New Mexico.
Yeah.
The weather.
And then by the 1st of February, we'll back down to the 20s.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think we talked about a month or two ago about the weather whiplash that I feel like we get here with the swings in the weather.
Yeah, and by March it's going to feel like spring, but we'll get one more snow in there or something. Just watch. Some weird thing will happen
for that one.
Yeah. So. But we can't complain because it's all moisture, and anytime we get moisture in any way, shape, or form, we cannot complain because
not
we
at
don't
all.
get enough of it to complain about it. So,
well, I know I was telling you before we started, I took a trip over to Arizona last week, and on the day we left, it absolutely poured. About the time we got up to Ruidoso and started down the other side of the hill, the west half of the state, it did not stop raining hard until we got to Tucson.
Wow.
I mean, it was just off and on and sheets of rain. But
it always seems like to me Arizona's weather lives in extremes. And it's like, everyone, like New Mexico's warm, but it's not Arizona warm. Like it'll be 100 here and you're like, wow, but you're like, 100's a cool day here. We're like 110, 115.
Yeah.
But the same thing. Then they won't get rain for months. But then when they get it, it comes all at once. Or they get those haboobs with the wind, and you're just like, who did y'all make angry? I mean, y'all just get the angriest weather sometimes.
Have you ever experienced a haboob? Have you ever been inside one?
I have, but it was in Saudi Arabia when I was in the military.
Okay.
And I lived in one for a couple days in Tent City. And yeah, you're it's just brown dust. I had to walk around like I'm in the cast of Dune with goggles and thing wrapped around your head and everything else. So, yeah.
I got caught in one. Me and a group of friends of ours. We were in school and we had to do an annual kind of a academic retreat to Phoenix. Well, this one year it happened to be in March or April. I can't remember what it was, but it was haboob season.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of the classroom mid-afternoon one day and looking to the south and east and seeing it boiling up there, just hundreds, maybe thousands of feet high, just a brown wall. And
it's scary and ominous.
Yeah, it is very ominous. And it was like we were thinking about going out to get something to eat, and thing is like, no, we better just go back to our hotel rooms and just hunker down because that's all that. But we ended up going out to eat anyway. But we got close to our hotel, so we'd be right by there.
Right.
And we ended up in this restaurant that had windows facing the south and the east, and so we just watched this thing come and get closer. We're getting served. We got all our food, and it was just like we were asking the waitress, "Yeah, can we just wait this thing out?" She goes, "I didn't expect you to do anything less." But it hit, and I mean, it just brown everywhere.
Wow.
And then when it finally left, just probably pretty close to somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch of just silt, very fine on everything.
So
everything
they just
outside.
Like to the townsfolk, just like, oh, another one of these, and we deal with it.
Well, they're all prepped for it. It wasn't as soon as it was all passed. People were out there washing things down and cleaning things up because you don't want to drive in that stuff because it'll just boil up. It'll clog up your air filters and everything else. So people get out there, and the hotel that I was staying at was right across the street. And I'm looking across the street, and sure enough, as soon as the thing's over, they're out there sweeping the sidewalks, and they're out there hosing things down and doing what it takes just to make the place a little more welcoming, so people don't have to track all that dust and silt and everything else. But it was quite the experience. I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah, the only time was when it was actually Kuwait, not Saudi Arabia. I was stationed there for a couple months, and they had one of those where but this thing stuck around for like a whole day, and it just was this dust. You just couldn't see 10 feet in front of you, just sand and just everything.
Yeah.
And it looked like you were in a different world. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And then the next day it was out of the area and back to normal. But it was very weird.
It was, like I said, this one, the one maybe it was just a little baby haboob. I don't know, but couldn't have been more than 30, 45 minutes because we were eating dinner.
Maybe they're different things. Maybe the haboob's that quick thing where this is some kind of storm. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have never. All I know is it was all of a sudden it turned the world I was living into in a completely different world, and it was something out of movies. It was crazy.
Well, we can all be thankful that at least here in the eastern side of New Mexico, we don't have to deal with those things.
No,
yes, we have to
no.
deal with some wind. Yes, we have to deal with some dust and blowing sand and occasional things, but not a haboob.
Yeah, the scariest I think I've ever seen like that around here, and this was about, and it still happens every once in a while, but the worst I saw it was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was driving from Artesia to Roswell, and if you are on 285, right at the Eddy County, Chavez County line there, there's a dairy that's right near there. I don't know if you remember. If you're going to, there's a dairy there, and a lot of times you see the dairy. A lot of times they got big piles of dirt that are covered with these tarps with about 100 tires and all that.
Okay.
Well, anyway, apparently in the flow of things, there was a windy day, but that was like a river. And right at that area, there was a stretch of road, quarter to a half mile maybe in length right there, where it was like a dust river just going through. And it was going across the highway right there. And I drove through it, and you could not see past the hood of your vehicle. It was the scariest thing. Matter of fact, it's a 2-lane highway. I was in the left lane just cruising. While I was in the middle of that, somebody freaked out and stopped in the middle of the right-hand lane.
Oh, no.
If I was in the right lane, I would have plowed right into him because I couldn't see him until literally. So, A, don't do that if you ever get in one of those. Get off the road or keep driving. Don't stand in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
And it was that was arguably one of the scariest moments of driving I've ever had. Like, I'm just blind faith driving through here, hoping I get through the other side without plowing into something.
Yeah.
And
I remember, even on our trip, seeing all the signs along the 10 freeway there that in potential areas of blowing dust and sand, zero visibility possible.
Yeah.
Pull off, and telling people pull off to the side of the road.
Yes.
Do not stop in the middle of the road.
Because you're just, why don't you be a roadblock? Say, come hit me. Because that's what you're doing.
Although I did think it was kind of interesting, the entire 10 freeway from pretty much the Morongo Pass in California all the way, to Las Cruces, is an area of blowing dust and sand. I mean, just the fact that it was only certain stretches that they'd say you're going through the Sonora Desert right, all along through there, and then getting over to New Mexico. It's a challenge from time to time.
I can imagine.
And I've been on the road, especially, and the 10 freeway seems to be the most challenging. Certainly going eastbound in terms of blowing dust and sand and things, but I've never. You have the blowing dust and sand on if you're trying to get from the western states, whether it's California, Arizona, over here to New Mexico, you've only got two choices. You got the 10 or the 40.
Right.
So this time of year, you either deal with the potential of blowing dust and sand, or you deal with the potential of a snowstorm that pops up out of nowhere. I've been caught in Gallup and Grants a couple of different times on various road trips.
And it gets pretty. I was in Lordsburg for one of their storms one time.
Oh,
it gets hairy out there. They had to close matter of fact, they'd closed the interstate that time when we were going. And we'd actually stayed the night in Lordsburg. And they closed the interstate at like the exit after, like we just missed the close. It was really like, so we stayed the night and then hopped on. It was really crazy. But yeah, I've been in some of those storms out in that part of the country. Okay. And it's pretty hairy.
That all this talk about the storms and the blowing dust, it reminds me of something that maybe if you'll grant me a moment to get back on track with the job that I do. One of the things that
You're not a meteorologist?
No, not a meteorologist, no. But I did play one on TV, and I stayed in a Holiday Inn Express last night. Although being a meteorologist in the Coachella Valley in California, the Palm Springs area, has got to be the easiest job in the world.
It's sunny and 70?
Sunny and hot. Yeah. That's the forecast for today, and you'll be right 360 out of 365 days.
You'll be like, this guy's good.
Yeah. He's got a better record than anybody I know.
Give him a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. But we're as we move into spring, and the winds will pick up here in Roswell.
Yeah.
And I think everybody remembers last year was an incredibly warm, dry, windy spring. And with all the new construction we've got going on around town, we had some challenges.
Yeah, the blowing dust
with the
was a
blowing
real
dust
problem.
and sands.
Yeah.
The technical term for it is fugitive dust. It's the dust and sand and other things that's kicked up by construction activity. We can't do anything about Mother Nature. Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature does.
It will win every time.
So all the undisturbed areas we can't do anything about, but we are going to be implementing some additional what we call wind erosion control measures, fugitive dust control measures, and things like that. I'm working through all of the policies and things on that right now, and I sent out an email actually before I left to take my little road trip to most of our builders and developers and people that are involved in any of that, inviting them to a meeting on, and I'm going to get this wrong, I believe it's February 9th.
Okay.
I'll double check. I've got two meetings back to back, one February 8th and one February 9th. But it's where all they can come in, and so we can talk about dust control. So we can talk about keeping the construction dust and everything down this year as best we can.
What's the technology there to do that? Is it just patting it down with water and stuff, or is it barriers?
Yeah, it's a combination of things you can that can be done. The typical way for most small sites is just pre-watering, okay? Getting out there when the wind's blowing 30, 40, 50 miles an hour.
It's like spitting in the wind.
You truly are spitting in the wind. Yeah. You're not going to do a doggone thing. So it's pre-watering and making sure that the dirt is compacted well, and that the amount of, you're not going to eliminate everything, but you're going to get it down. So most small sites will go that direction. Larger sites will use what's called a tackifier or an emulsifier. Then what that does is that binds the soil together. Lasts a lot longer. Of course, it's more expensive, but it lasts a lot longer than water. And if you're looking at a larger site where you would have tremendous water costs associated with it, plus the vehicle and everything else, sometimes putting these tackifiers down is more cost effective. For long term, of course, you can hydro seed and then water it. You get a little bit of growth on the top of it. That holds everything down.
Of course, that's something you do after construction's kind of done, though, is it?
No, you can do it. It depends on how long you think the properties are going to be there. Okay. It's we have when you look at any large development, one of the things you consider is what's called absorption rate. In other words, how quickly do you think you're going to be able to build the homes, sell the homes? Historically, we've only, I haven't looked back, to the 1990s and beyond, but since about 2000, the city's only been building about 50 to 70 new homes a year. Okay, and a lot of those new homes that are being built to replace homes that are either uninhabitable now or dilapidated or have been torn down. So we haven't really increased the housing stock to any significant degree. So it's what we're we've got our builders right now, both our local builders and some of the builders that are looking at this area from out of town to build new homes. They're trying to figure out, okay, if we've been able to build and sell 50 to 70 new homes a year, but we have these new jobs and these new businesses and other things coming into town, and we've got people naturally moving here. I believe it or not, I actually moved to Roswell because I wanted to. I looked around the town and I thought, what a great little town, and can I do a good job here? And so I wanted to come here. Surprisingly enough, there are a lot of people like that just come to Roswell because, hey, they look at New Mexico as a great place to live and work and the opportunities that are here.
Absolutely. As a person that grew up in D.C. area, Maryland, and things, I love going and visiting and going back. Yeah. You could not pay me enough to live back in that area.
Oh, that was. In fact, I've had that experience. It wasn't 6 months after I left and moved out here that the recruiter started calling, trying to entice me to go back. Okay?
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I actually had one offer me what 5 years ago would have been a great job.
Yeah.
Great job, great pay scale, and everything else. And I basically told him to double the pay, and then we'll talk. Okay, maybe. Okay. Because when you look at the cost of living, there, it's insane. It's through the roof.
Absolutely. Not to mention headaches, stresses, the hustle and bustle, and all those other factors.
And there are some serious issues going on relative to crime, and homelessness, and a lot of other things. It's I have a feeling that it's a place I may go visit for vacation once in a while, but as far as moving back, no, I'm happy right here in
Sometimes
Roswell.
less money and a happier environment is a way, happy with life. It's not all about how much money you can get. It's about the life you're living in that place you're at.
Absolutely. It's quality of life.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And I am the first to admit that when my wife and I moved here to Roswell, our quality of life improved dramatically.
Great.
It really did. And that's why I love this little town, and I want to make sure that we do everything we can to help enhance it.
Plus, you're in a different place in your life than you were 20, 30 years ago. When you're
absolutely.
younger and hungrier, you're, okay, I'm willing to work in those to get the money. And when you got the world kind of in front of you, so to speak, you take those challenges. But when you get to a point when you're married and settle down and you're kind of, I want stability. I don't want... I'm not trying to get the highest level I can anymore. I'm trying to, find my niche, find my place that's so it's kind of, I imagine there's some 20-year-olds who are probably thinking, put me there, and that's where you should be in your life. When you get in your 50s and 60s and places past that, you're not thinking those kind of things.
No, you're not definitely not. I had a wonderful time on our trip, but we were really happy to get back home too, and to here to Roswell. But we didn't have a whole lot going on at last night's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It was a relatively light meeting.
Was it no news is good news type thing? Or
no, it was a.
It is also January,
and that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You typically have a lull in the first month or two of the year. Because anybody who's thinking about doing something is probably going to put it off until the first of the year, and then by the time they make their applications, turn everything in, we do all the advertising and everything, it's February or March before you can get things put together.
The deadlines were last year. Now we're past those. All right, we can slowly get back.
We're slowly getting back into it. What hasn't stopped though, and this has been really a lot of fun in the office. What has not stopped is the number of just people, local residents coming in and looking at doing renovations to their homes, looking at doing upgrades, looking at starting new businesses, looking at those
are always good signs.
It's all good signs. It's all positive.
And it just to kind of peel back, when times are tough and things are bad, people aren't looking to expand and renovate and to replace. So when you see a lot of people coming in asking for permit applications and things that's a sign of growth and prosperity.
Prosperity.
Yeah.
It's also a sign of stability. Okay, that when you have people that already own homes and they're saying, "Look, I don't want to move. I want to take and I want to enhance my neighborhood. I want to go ahead and upgrade my home, which will enhance my neighborhood and the property values in the area." And we are turning out those permits just as quickly as we possibly can.
Great to see.
Yeah,
that's great to see. And then so now, folks, please don't forget to do that part of the process. Nothing is worse than when you start doing your home renovations and you're not going to get the proper steps and process. Because unfortunately, if you do something wrong or something happens, you're in trouble. That's the thing. It's not so much that they want to know what you're doing. It's they want to make sure that, when you leave that house or do whatever you're doing, you didn't shoddily put, there was some code, there's some safety and some regulations involved in any expansions or renovations. So God forbid yourself or the next people after you sell it aren't in the family room and everything just falls down on them because you didn't know what you're doing building it.
And that's wonderful. Not only is that wonderful advice that's for everyone, but I want to remind everybody that our building department exists to serve the people, to serve the residents, all right? Yes, we work with contractors a lot, but if you're looking at doing a renovation on your home, and maybe it's the first time you've ever done a renovation, come on down to our building department. Talk to our building inspectors. Talk to the people who are in the know.
Sure.
Okay? And then if you're going to end up, whether you do the work yourself or you end up hiring a contractor, and there's certain things you must hire a contractor for.
Sure.
Significant electrical work, you have to hire a contractor. Certain plumbing
I'm guessing
work.
unless you're a licensed electrician or plumber or contractor.
Something like that, unless yourself.
Unless that's your day job.
Yeah. But we have an incredible team of inspectors, and they're all very customer focused, so if you're looking at any kind of major upgrades, or maybe you're thinking about putting in a new solar system, or you're thinking about putting in any kind of backup power generator and everything, come on down and see our electrical inspector. Talk to the electrical inspector. If you're looking at adding a bathroom, come talk to our plumbing inspector. Come talk to our regular general building guys. If you're looking at do an addition, okay. For a couple of different reasons. Number one, they will walk you through the process. These are the things, these are the kind of plans you need, these are the kind of permits you need. And then if you do decide to hire a contractor, do your due diligence. Come back down to City Hall. Let us get on the computer. Let us double check the status. Make sure they are licensed. Make sure they're in good standing.
Sure.
Make sure that there's no reports. Okay.
Let's help you avoid the pitfall of being left high and dry with a contractor fly-by-night type scenario.
Exactly. And that's something that especially remember and keep in mind if, heaven forbid, we have another one of those major hailstorms. Okay. And all of a sudden,
and we're going to have one. It's
we're going to have one. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
all right.
But we all know what happens.
But
when that
you have, much like every other natural disaster in the world, you have unscrupulous people out there who are, affectionately termed storm chasers. Okay, or disaster chasers, and they will all of a sudden show up in town. And they will want to take your money because, hey, your roof's got a big hole in it right now. We need to do something. So they're right there, ready to go, sign a deal, put it up there. The problem with going that route, of course, is yes, you may get something done, and if you're lucky, it'll be done correctly. But if it's not done by a licensed contractor, a New Mexico state licensed contractor, and it's not inspected by the city, and it ends up being shoddy workmanship, you know who's not going to pay for that repair?
Yeah, that person that just flew by.
No, your insurance company.
Yeah, and your insurance won't.
Won't cover it at all. So you need to double check. You need on everything.
Absolutely. In the general rule of thumb, especially because you'll see a bunch of the tents pop up for your cars and for those dent and repairs. Same kind of concept.
Yeah.
But this is just my rule of thumb. This is my personal. When it comes to your home renovations and roofers and things for doing stuff like this. Every time I'm like, look to my local. The people when there's not a hailstorm here, what roofing companies are here? Because they're the ones that have established reputations in this area. You could easily check on them to find out how they are and what work. They've got a portfolio of business here in town where you could say, they did that. That's fine. I want that on my house. Where these fly-by-nights, sure, some might be legit and do great work and everything else, but without the permitting process, without a layer of trust that's already been established,
right?
You got to be careful there, and that's why I'm always been like, all right, that roofing company's been here long before this mess went.
And there are a lot of good contractors out there. I've worked with several of them who do maintain licenses in multiple states.
Yeah.
Okay, their corporate headquarters or their base of operations may be Texas, or it may be Arizona, or it might be Colorado. Even had one from Oklahoma recently that came through. But they have dual licenses.
Sure.
And you want to make sure when that company comes in, if they say they're from Texas or they're from Arizona or Oklahoma or wherever they're from, double check.
Yeah.
Make sure that they are
and
licensed.
Pretty much all the legit ones, when they come into town, they're going through your office before they're doing anything, right?
Most likely, yes.
So if it is one of these fly-by, maybe out-of-town things, and you want to check that, call his office. Say, have they talked to you? Do they have paperwork on file? They got everything?
Yep.
Their ducks in order there? And if they don't, there's a huge red flag.
Yeah. And then when you do get ready to have the work done, regardless, again, it could be a roof, it could be electrical or whatever, make sure that as part of your agreement, part of your contract with the contractor, it includes that they will go down to the city, they will pull the permits, because if they pull the permits, they fill out all the information again, and we double check their status, okay, to make sure that they are legitimate companies.
Sure.
But that also puts us on notice that we've got this work going on at such and such an address, and that we need to get out there and we're prepared to come out and do inspections.
Sure. Making sure that they do what they say.
Yeah. Because I know in the event of again, heaven forbid, any kind of a natural disaster, whether it's a flood or a fire or hail or whatever. Okay, I know that everybody's anxious to get back on their feet. Everybody's anxious but the last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money expecting to get reimbursed and find out that you haven't hired the right kind of people.
Think of it in terms of, for most of us, not all of us, but for most of us, that home you're living in that you bought yourself is the biggest investment you ever have in your life.
Yeah.
It's the one thing in your life for many of us that's actually doing work for you. You make a payment on your mortgage every month, that's investing back in you. Now, unlike a rent check, which is a whole other conversation, but for most of us, it's the biggest asset we have in our lives is our home.
And I want everybody to know, I absolutely, positively practice what I preach here.
Yeah.
Okay, and I may be the community development director. The building and inspections division does report to me, but the way I get out of housework. Okay. And I told my wife, I am a mechanical and construction incompetent. Okay.
I know enough to be dangerous.
I know enough to probably splatter my thumb or electrocute myself and everything else. So if you ever want to check on me, you'll see that when we started doing renovations at our house after we bought it a couple of years ago, the first thing we did is we went out and we got an electrical contractor. We needed to upgrade our electrical work, and we've had a plumbing contractor out there as well. And again, fully permitted, but I make sure they go through the process. It's like, okay, here's my contract. Now you're going to go pull the permit. You're going to make sure it's inspected because I make sure that I don't make that last payment to them until after our building inspectors, but that keeps us all on the straight and narrow. Yeah. And when it comes time, if at some point in the future I do decide to sell the house, I can present all the appropriate paperwork and the appropriate permits showing that, hey, all this was done legitimately and the value of the home is hopefully worth what I'm asking.
Exactly. Yeah. It just reminded, we're almost out of time. I just saw that, but I'll tell the story later because the stuff you're talking about when my dad was that person growing up. This is why I'm not that mechanic. Like my dad would he'd redid our basement a couple times. He didn't know what he's doing. He didn't get permits, and literally he put a drop ceiling in. I was down there watching TV. I went upstairs. Moments after I went upstairs, that whole drop ceiling, I probably would have been. I live my life that way, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, now I'm an adult. I'm like, I'm doing none of that because I saw my dad do the craziest shenanigans like that as a kid, and I'm not doing it.
See, my dad and my brother are exactly the opposite of me. Okay, I did not inherit the construction gene. Okay? And my dad was a licensed, in addition to being a civil engineer, he was a licensed contractor. So I'd go with him on job sites, and I'd look at all the stuff that he's doing, and it's like, I remember distinctly working on something at one point. I was 16 or 17 years old, and my dad just took the tools out of my hands, and he said, "You need to go study." Because you're going to have to get a really good job so that you can pay people to do the things because you're just making things worse.
That's right. Some of us have the gift. Your gifts are in other places.
And I have held that advice near and dear to my heart for since that time.
Staying in your lane is
staying in your lane.
Some of the best advice you could ever get sometimes.
And like I said, I know that we've got some very, very good local contractors, very talented, very capable.
Yes.
We've got a great building inspections team. There's no reason to take a chance on your biggest investment.
Absolutely. But if you have questions, if you're like, hey, I want to do some upgrades in my home, I have no idea the process. First thing you do is go on down, talk to his office, talk to the staff, let them get you here's your checklist of what you got to do and what order and how it needs to get done and what time frame, and they'll help you. And then if you're like, well, what's that mean? They'll explain and walk you through the whole process.
If we're really lucky here, our new development services center will be moving in. If not the end of this week, early next week.
All right.
And once we get everything set up, we plan on having a grand opening, inviting the entire community. And you'll see it is set up, the entire building, the entire bottom floor of the SunWest building over there is going to be for our department.
Oh, nice.
And it is set up to do one thing and one thing only, and that is serve the people of the city of Roswell.
It's the customer service center.
Customer service is
permitting, construction, upgrades, all that.
We've been working on that. We've been cross training people. I actually hired a customer service specialist.
Nice.
That'll be the person this young lady that will greet you when you come in, make sure you've got all the paperwork you need, direct you to who you need to talk to. It's going to be good. It's going to be a significant improvement to the development services here in Roswell.
It'll be run like a business instead of a government entity, which is closer to which is a neat experience.
Well, that is the goal. That is the goal. Deal. We are. When people come to see us, it's because they've got a problem. If they've got a problem, we need to be there to help them solve it.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Is there anything we missed? Anything we want to mention before we we have to cut out here?
Not well. Again, we're into planning season right now, and I'm sure you'll probably be talking to Barbara Gomez, but here pretty soon about what's going to be happening on Main Street and the planning that'll be done there, and looking at a long term some great things that are going to be happening on Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you've probably talked to Juanita Jennings recently about the UFO Expo.
Yeah,
there's another UFO event that'll be happening, I believe, spring break, so March 11th through 10th,
and we'll talk more about it as we get a little closer.
Yeah, that's coming up as well, and we're going to have some stuff not only going on at the convention center, but Main Street is going to have stuff happening here right downtown. So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good things. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a great 2023.
Yeah, we're looking forward, excited to it. So maybe by this time next month when we talk to you, you'll be in the new digs over in the Sunwest building.
Believe me.
Knock on wood.
Let's not jinx it. All right, but
right.
But yes, that is the not only hope but the goal.
Absolutely. Well, good. Well, we look forward to it. Maybe we do a tour the next time or something. But cool. Thank you as always, Kevin. We appreciate the visit. We'll see you next time.
All right, Mike. Take care.
You too. It is 7:58. Let's do a quick update for sports.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. A lot of teams, including the Roswell Coyotes, were scheduled to begin their district schedules last night, but Mother Nature had a say-so in this, and these games, a lot of them were not canceled, but postponed to a later date. For instance, Roswell against Hobbs in girls basketball. That was supposed to be last night. That's been moved to Tuesday, January the 31st. The Roswell boys were supposed to be playing at Hobbs last night as well. That game moved to at the same date, Tuesday, January the 31st. We do have one score from last night. It was the Goddard Rockets playing the NMMI Colts. That was in Roswell. Teams didn't have to travel very far. Goddard won by a score of 58-28 to move to 10-10 on the season. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
The federal
on air and online. This is Roswell's home for talk radio. KEND
Texas
Roswell.
Sheriff Brad Coe is asking for backup from other law enforcement agencies as massive amounts of illegal immigrants continue to move through his county. The sheriff sent a letter to law enforcement in neighboring states requesting additional resources. The sheriff says it's so bad that he believes every county in Texas has now become a border county due to the number of illegal immigrants being smuggled away from the border region. He says 40 Texas counties have issued declarations of invasion in recent months. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The Justice Department and 8 states are taking Google to court and filing an antitrust suit.
They're seeking to shatter its alleged monopoly of online advertising as a hurtful burden to advertisers, consumers, and even the U.S. government. The government alleges that Google's plan to assert dominance in online ads has been to neutralize or eliminate rivals through acquisitions and to force advertisers to use its products by making it difficult to use competitors' offerings. It's part of a new, if slow and halting, push by the U.S. to rein in big tech companies that have enjoyed largely unbridled growth in the past decade and a half. Keith Peters reporting.
Parts of the South have been pummeled by severe weather over the past 24 hours. Parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, and Florida hard hit by destructive winds, including tornadoes. Power outages widespread, along with a lot of property damage. On Wall Street, the Dow down 293 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-626-5252. That's 800-626-5252. 800-626-5252.
Battles between police and demonstrators ongoing in Lima, Peru, amid demands for the resignation of President Dina Boluarte.
Lima police officers in riot gear raised their shields and fired tear gas in a confrontation with protesters. Videos showing a man running through the street throwing a rock towards the police lines. Boluarte has called for a national truce, blaming the protesters for the political violence that's engulfed the country. The Tuesday anti-government protest was the largest and most violent since last Thursday, when large groups of people, many from remote Andean regions, descended on the capital to demand Boluarte's resignation. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
44-year-old Chris Hipkins has been sworn in today as New Zealand's 41st Prime Minister. Follows the unexpected resignation last week of Jacinda Ardern. Townhall.com. Newly released survey regarding controversial New York freshman Congressman George Santos.
Nearly half of Republicans responding to a Siena College research poll say Santos should step down over charges his campaign was riddled with lies and that he may be guilty of campaign fundraising violations. 49% of Republicans say Santos should resign. Only 26% say he should keep his job. Oddly, more Democrats, 20%, than Republicans, 15%, share a favorable view of Santos. He's been brushing off reporters' questions, saying only that he's focused now on serving the American people. Bob Agnew, Capitol Hill.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz makes it official his government will supply German-made Leopard tanks to Ukraine. The decision comes after the U.S. announced a preliminary deal for the United States to send M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine as its soldiers do battle with the Russian invaders. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The Deuce. Hi. Mornings with Mike Winters. Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday. Oh, indeed. Roy, come hither, por favor. All right. I got to settle something for you. It's a continuation of a conversation we had yesterday.
Oh, a conversation continuation. I love those.
So, Roy, could you come in just for us?
Young Roybert.
I have pleasing news for all of you.
Oh.
pleasing news.
I love pleasing news.
Pleasing
news
news.
is like among my favorite types of news.
I have pleasing news for both of you.
The most pleasingest of news is...
First pleasing news I have is...
5.
Oh, different 4.
Like to
Sorry.
be pleased.
First pleasing news I have is I did not miss Night Court Monday night. It was on Tuesday night.
Oh.
Okay?
Nice.
That's
Okay.
my first bit of good news.
All right.
It's on Tuesday nights. Second bit of good news, this noise. Let me get the right side out. This thing. That thing?
Yep.
It's in there. It's in the opening credits of that show.
Is it?
I watched it last night.
Okay.
They don't put it quite at the end. It's that knock knock, and then they have a
All right. I'm going to look it up right now because I played it yesterday.
yeah. It's a
I'm going to
they have
replay it again.
the knock knock, and then then the song ends.
I might have heard a knock.
Yeah, there's the knocks.
Because I watched it last night too.
The knocks are there. I listened for them.
The guitar still makes me cringe.
The one you played yesterday was not the full one.
This is okay. Now this is a 16-second intro.
Yeah, that's not the full
But that's
one.
the only one that's available on YouTube.
Oh, the one that's on the show that aired last night has the tick, tick. It's in there. It's there.
We're gonna get flagged by NBC.
We paid.
There it is.
Told you.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's a clap.
But it's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. It doesn't
there.
have to be wood on wood. I'll take hand on hand. All right.
I remember now. It was a clap.
All right. I'll take it.
But it is there. It is there.
That guy severely looked like John Goodman for a quick second.
He looks like an amalgamation of about 10 different people.
Oh yeah, he does. he's AI.
But yes, so
all right,
you're welcome.
Okay.
Night Court did not get rid of the.
There are certain things that happen that let me know I'm real ADHD, and it's things like if a certain sound isn't in a thing that I expect it should be, it'll anger me.
Yeah,
and that's just ways that I know.
And by the way, I've watched. This was technically the third episode of the show that aired last night because they premiered 2 episodes the first week. And so now this one, it's getting a little into more character development. Because now you're starting to learn a little more about Melissa Rauch's character. And because her and in this particular... You watched last night's, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm about to say. Spoiler. But because her and John LaRoquette's character are at odds a little bit. And she kind of has, basically the premise of this particular episode is she's kind of they kind of getting on to her about her weird, her very forgiving style of justice, and she ended up blowing a undercover cop's blew his cover, and so she got to this by the book now, and then LaRoquette's like maybe, and so we find out a little secret about her, and they both share. I think they both share it in common, don't they? I think he's got the same issue. Put it this way.
No, his wife did.
Oh, his wife did. That's what it was. Yeah. She is an alcoholic. And that's a fact we learn in that episode.
Fun.
Of that's, part of her.
So
she's a recovering alcoholic.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not drinking.
No, I was just like,
but she's an alcoholic.
The way you set it up and framed it, you're like, she problem drinks to solve her problems.
Sorry.
That's how she solved it. Because by the end, I just pictured her just sitting there at the table, just doing shots.
Yeah, but they kind of analyze and it's talking about a relationship with the dad, and they're talking about how she did get clean before Dad died, and so it took a twist on me. I was like, this is not goofy quirky. They got real on you for a minute, and so that was the first Night Court moment of that. So they're developing the character.
I'll put it this way: you don't expect a show like that, a show with a laugh track, to go that direction.
Yeah.
So props to him for doing that, for thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because I expect that from like the Bill Lawrence style of writing.
Yeah,
he's got this way of like.
By the way, I saw the commercial for Shrinking last night.
It looks really good.
It looks interesting.
It does. But he's got this way of like writing hilarious characters and writing an arcs and story building, and then immediately turning it on its ear and it being the saddest moment of your entire existence, and you're just sitting there sobbing.
Yeah. Yeah,
and a lot of it has to do with just the music choices.
Well, I'm sure Night Court will be doing it, but See, like the first episode was very much, and the second one too, is very much of, hey, it's like the old one. Come see the nostalgia. Oh, remember this thing? Remember this thing? Yeah, it's just like the old one. Remember?
Sure.
Now they're trying to make it its own in that third episode. That's what they're. At least that's the way I picked it up.
Maybe it's because I'm not an alcoholic, but they were using a lot of terms that I didn't understand either.
Oh, explain what terms
in those dialogues. I can't remember what they were, but you know, like the terms that he was bringing up.
I don't remember them either, but if you remembered them, I could tell you because I'm
a bit of a recovering alcoholic myself.
I'm a bit of a boozer myself.
I tend to dip a toe into the world, you know. I dabble a bit in alcoholism.
I dabble in alcoholism.
No, like they were using a lot of code words and stuff.
Well, okay, so if you've ever known a 12-stepper, then you know that they do kind of have their own certain language.
That's what John Larroquette figured out because of her.
She said a certain term.
Yeah.
Did she say like amends or something?
Yeah, it's something in that vein. Yeah. It's something very much of 12-step.
It was a 2-word phrase, but
and that's what Larroquette picked it out because of his wife. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I forgot that detail. I was knee deep in a pie at that point.
But yeah, all those terms that were saying were like flying over my head.
Yeah, a lot of that. The code, so to speak. But it was a different twist. So, but anyway, the clicks are back. That was my whole point of all that. So they did not disappear.
The clicks are back? I'm sorry, because the other show you're watching also involves...
Yeah, the clickers.
The clickers.
That one. I won't have a new episode of that till next
I started that last night. I didn't finish the first episode, but I did start it.
Yeah.
I did start it. I got onto something else before I could finish the first episode, but I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
So, well, that first episode is really long to me.
It is.
Is it lengthwise?
I didn't look at it, but I think it seems like it's
like I remember watching
a lot of story.
Yeah,
in
I just remember getting done watching. I was like, I feel like I watched a 2-hour movie. Was that only an hour? That was crazy.
I think what it was I just like fell asleep, and I was just like, if I'm gonna fall asleep, I want to watch it when I'm not gonna.
And
fall
to be
asleep.
honest, it's because you're learning the story, and you jump 3 different time arcs in the first 10 minutes of that show.
Right.
I forgot to tell you yesterday, you actually start 1968 in the show.
Right.
Where it's a panel of
that's incredibly interesting, that whole segment with the doctor. Where
and then it jumps to 03 where the incident happens, and then it jumps to 20 years later where it's the current timeline of the show. And that's where, so if you're not paying attention and you just turn it on and see a bunch of guys smoking and talking, and then you go from that to guys with flowers on their head running around, you're like, what happened?
Right.
But so it's a lot that you have to pay attention to get to that point. And that's the thing that makes it, because they're trying to get you caught up to speed on the world,
right?
But they got to do it in like 5 minutes, and that's where it's just like, whoa.
Before we get too far away from it, I wanted to touch on something. I've been watching this show on Netflix called 100 Humans.
Okay, I
don't know if you've seen it, but if you've seen it,
ring a bell.
It's insane.
Okay,
it's basically they're doing clinical trials on these people, but it's being filmed and framed in a TV show format.
Is it real?
They're real people. Basically they got 100 random people of all like ages, from like age in their 20s to in their 60s or 70s in some cases, all nationalities, sexualities, whatever, and they're just running clinical trials. One of the things they did yesterday was they separated these people 50 and 50, and they showed them the exact same video, But in one video, they played kind of like happy music, and the other one they played kind of like traumatic, sad music.
But they're seeing the same visuals.
Exact same visuals.
Okay.
And it's like it's fail videos, basically people getting injured on like a bike, or like.
And then one group's laughing and the other's like sad.
It's insane.
Interesting.
It's crazy. I was watching like their dual reactions. One dude just started crying because there's like one scene where like there's these people on like one of those 2-person swings, and they launch and they completely miss the pad. Their head bounces off the ground like a basketball. At that point, people in one crowd are losing it, like crying, freaking out. In the one where they're just playing little happy music, they're laughing hysterically and going, ha! It's insane. It's like watching how easily people can be manipulated and conditioned. It's mind-boggling how simple we can just be like manipulated like that.
Now what I want to do, I want to get some entrepreneurial Photoshop / manipulators of video and things, and just take like the darkest moments in cinema, Schindler's List. You pick them, whatever movie, and then
strap it up with yakety sax.
rescore them with like organ, just happy upbeat, and see if it changes.
Right.
I'd just be very curious to see that. Like Schindler's List got a lot of dark stuff in
there's
there.
a line. I'm pretty sure there's a line. If you're witnessing someone actually die, like at one point you see like a forklift like fall over because it had too much, or not a forklift, a crane fall over because it had too much weight on it and like fall into a Jeep. Stuff that like people probably got hurt, but you don't see it because it's from afar.
Yeah.
In one case with the traumatic music, they were like, oh God, no. And in the happy video, they were just laughing and having a good time. And it really is that. I think, but there has to be that line of like, if you see someone losing their life, that's got to be a line.
Sure.
Right?
Well, I mean, you could go all kinds of directions because you could even go with, you take the exact same video and the exact same music and put it on two different platforms. Like you put it on Twitter, you're going to get a bunch of snarky. That's true. And then you put it on, like, say, Facebook, and I bet you get different style. Right. I mean, yeah, you're going to get a smattering of because people are people.
Sure.
But the way people interact on Facebook versus the way they interact on Twitter, and I think it's all because how you choose your friends and who your circle of people are and all that is completely different. And we're much more friendly on Facebook when we know there's people that know us actually see this stuff.
Right.
Or on Twitter, where it's more or less you choose who you see and follow, it's kind of, because Facebook, you choose to let people in your world.
Right.
Twitter, it's who wants to look into your
Here's
world.
the thing. I don't follow Twitter, so I'm not in the Twitterverse, but I heard recently they started a For You page, essentially. Like when you log into Twitter, you are shown specifically like more popular tweets on the For You page.
Yeah, they do have it set up now where it's for you and then you're following, and I've noticed that, and you got to go back and forth, and it's a little convoluted.
But what I'm hearing from a lot of people that I talk to that are on Twitter is it's become so much more vitriolic.
Oh,
and
it's
like,
very much.
Because now they're handpicking like tweets that are specifically, divisive and ones that are starting fights that are getting the most attention because they're the ones that are causing the most arguments.
I get on Twitter.
And it's causing people's like want of or like quality of life to go down because they don't want to like they're tired of being involved in it.
Yeah, I get that, but you're absolutely right because I can I get on Twitter right now. I can go on my Twitter right this second, scroll less than 30 seconds,
right,
and I'm going to find it probably 3 or 4 either fight videos, some kind of political vitriol, or something. I guarantee it. There's more of that than there is just fun, lighthearted tweets.
It's like if you've ever talked to somebody who's not on TikTok and they're happy about it. That's how I feel about Twitter. I'm so happy that I'm not on Twitter.
Right.
Like it just makes me it makes me happy that I don't have to deal with that on a consistent basis.
Like, okay, so I'm on the For You part of Twitter.
And that
first video opens up, Fight Haven.
Fight Haven.
This is the very first
now,
thing that pops up.
Now, it probably heard you, though. The algorithm is always listening. That's the thing. Do we have a guest, by the way?
Tweet number 2 is a political thing about them calling each other idiots. The third one is awful announcing, where they were getting Greg Olson on Tom Brady and how they're vitriol there. Then we get a rapper who gets into a fist fight with a predator who was at a Walmart. These are the first 5 tweets of my
but
tweet.
in fairness, your algorithm knows you very well.
But I didn't pick any of that. I didn't ask for any of that. It just showed up.
I have seen you watch fight videos before.
Well, I'm a sucker. I mean, I'm a red rubbernecker like anybody else.
I literally just looked at my phone. I got this from Chris 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we should do a fake behind the music about the career of a studio session clapper. He's appeared in more than 10,000 songs. It's just a dude.
I like that.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Greg Olson. Greg Sanderson.
Real quick, I found the phrase. It's defects of character.
Ah, that's the one.
That was the phrase that included John LaRoquette's character.
That was the buzz.
Okay, I have
Abby.
to address
and
something.
I was like, what?
I've never used that
I have
either.
to address something. And this happened. I caught this yesterday, and I didn't say anything. And you just did it again, but more egregiously, and now it needs to be addressed. Go ahead and say that guy's name one more time.
John LaRoquette?
No!
It's
no,
Larroquette.
sir! No, sir! How dare you, sir! It's Larroquette! Larroquette.
Has he said
And
it?
you've heard us say Larroquette.
Has he pronounced it that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He's not newly famous. He's been famous for 50 years.
I've never seen that name before.
You heard us say Larroquette, and you still committed to Larroquette.
He was in the original one. He was the one guy on the show that was in the first one, and he was a star then. So
Right.
John Larroquette has been famous for 40 years, 30 years.
You said it differently too just now.
Did I?
You just said Larroquette.
You said Larroquette, yeah.
John Larroquette.
It's Larroquette. Yeah, too much emphasis on the row. It's Larroquette.
Yeah.
That's how I've always heard it, Larroquette.
Oh.
And now I've said it so many times it doesn't even make sense in my head anymore.
Maybe because I went to Goddard and now I'm just thinking Larroquette.
There you go.
Larroquette. It's French. All right, we better get our interview started if we're gonna. I don't think our guest is gonna make it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play our interview. We were gonna play last hour. Tracy Fry with the Roswell Public Library, giving us an update on things happening in and around the library over the next couple weeks. But before we do that, here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks pretty good over the next couple of days. Low pressure is out of the way, and we have high pressure building over the central Rockies, and that'll be covering us with sunshine today. Afternoon high in the low to mid 40s. Few clouds for the overnight hours and low 20s, and then we get sunshine for Thursday. We'll stay in the low 40s for the afternoon high. Upper 40s to low 50s and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 30 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 88%. Winds are, in fact, calm at the moment. We're still into the winter weather advisory till 9, but it's over. Mostly sunny today, 45 for a high. West winds 5 to 10 this afternoon, so still going to be chilly. Partly cloudy tonight. Overnight low of 20. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny. A little cooler than today, actually. 43 for a high tomorrow. North winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, mostly clear. 17 for an overnight low. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny and 49 for Friday with south winds 5 to 10. And then we're going to be in the weekend. Look like for the weekend we'll be in the 50s. So that'll be a little nicer. Mostly sunny, 56 Saturday. Sunny and 57 on Sunday. All right, 8:24. We're going to take a 4-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Tracy Fry from the Roswell Public Library. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Lots of excitement and changes are happening at the Calico Cow in Roswell. Yes, the Cow is utterly stocked with lots of new and spring fabrics. And what a perfect time to give your sewing machine a spa day. The Calico Cow now has 2 certified sewing machine technicians, so call ahead or bring your machine by for a quick turnaround and look for new and exciting things to come at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in downtown Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the Cow.
The New Mexico Modern Child Support Family Program. It works to benefit both parents for the purpose of improving children's lives. It provides the basics of child support but goes further by helping parents step up to find better job opportunities that get them back on track to paying their monthly child support obligation. Find out how the Child Support Step-Up program can help your modern family. Contact New Mexico Child Support today at 1-800-283-4465 or visit hsd.state.nm.us. Brought to you by the New Mexico Human Services Department.
Time to reload for 2023 with LGS Guns and Ammo. Southeastern New Mexico's authority for guns and ammunition is stocked up for the new year. And that means the best selection in the state just got even better. Save big on brands you know and love like Glock, Springfield, Ruger, Mossberg, Smith & Wesson, and more. Plus huge store-wide savings on ammo, magazines, optics and knives, and pistol conversion kits 20% off. Reload for the new year with LGS Guns and Ammo. Southeastern New Mexico's authority for guns and ammo across from Target in Roswell and at lgsguns.com.
This is Sheriff Mike Harrington. Catalytic converter theft has exploded in Chaves County. Your catalytic converter is worth big money in the wrong hands, so thieves are cutting them from your vehicles big and small. With no serial numbers, law enforcement can't prove they're stolen. So what can you do? The Roswell Nissan Catalytic Converter Permanent Stamping Service. This quick and easy service permanently stamps part of your VIN number on the converter. It only takes about 20 minutes for a discounted price of $70. Call 575-625-2111 or schedule online at roswellnissan.com.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-817-2871. 800-817-2871. 800-817-2871. That's 800-817-2871.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
Yep, one more. Morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Tracy Fry back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How about you?
Doing good. How's has the library been busy in the new year? As people kind of, now the kids are back to school and stuff. I imagine there was a little bit of a break after the Christmas break, but
Right. It's a little busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Sure.
We'll have a short period of time where it's like no one's coming in, and you're just like,
wait till some W-2s start coming in, and
that's
then
what we keep getting phone calls.
yeah, that the library will pick back up.
Yeah.
Tax season's always a busy time.
Yes.
People need to get their taxes done, and of course,
Right.
people asking about getting their proper forms and all that. And
Right.
the library always carries that stuff. So,
Mhm.
by the way, if you want to do any of it, if you want to register to vote or do any of that kind, I think not anymore. You can't do it at the library.
No, it was
Okay.
just that 1 year.
Oh, okay. I thought you could always go there and register to vote
No.
too. But yeah, you definitely go there and get your tax forms and all that stuff here in a couple weeks when you start
Right.
looking for that kind of thing. And then, of course, you can always get a library card if you don't have one of those. They're free and it opens you to the whole world of the library. So.
And
definitely.
the tax forms will be coming at the end of the month. We
Okay.
haven't gotten them yet, but they should be here by
About the
end
time
of
your
the month.
W-2 show up in the mail is
Right.
about the time those will probably start turning up in the library and things
Right.
like that. So, but call ahead if you as we get towards the end of the month and you start looking for the tax forms and all that. Then, and sometimes during the season too, you guys will have people to help with that. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if there's anything planned in the future here.
No, not that I am aware of.
Okay.
So
Usually when that kind of stuff happens, it's closer to the April time when
Right.
people are scrambling to get their taxes. Usually
Yes.
get them paid. Not many people waiting on refunds wait till April 15th.
No.
That's something I've learned.
Yes.
But look, here in a couple weeks, you'll be able to come by and pick up your tax forms. And
Correct.
well, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of other things going on. 'Cause
Right.
there's always something every week going on at the library. Obviously, when we'll talk about the regular events, your
Right.
story times and
Right.
and your monthly weekend.
Right.
Depending on the weekend, what's going on. But
Right.
there's always a ton of stuff going on at the library.
Yes, there is.
So we better just shut our holes and let Tracy start telling us about them, because there's a whole month worth of stuff going on here.
Okay. Well, tomorrow we're having the gardening at the library with Drew Garrett.
Yeah, they were on Tuesday and mentioned it real quick. That's
Right.
a lot of fun when the extension office comes out and does their
Yes.
thing, and so it's Drew in the plants tomorrow.
Exactly, at
Nice.
10 a.m. And also we're having a STEM activity tomorrow at 11 a.m. And it's called Atop.
Okay.
Combine chemicals to make a photo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is kind of getting into like old school photography and developing kind of.
Yeah, I think it's more like an art type.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not-
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking dark rooms and red and all,
Oh, no.
that kind of thing.
No, not quite.
So that's all tomorrow.
Correct. So
Good
the
deal. And that's at 11 for the STEM and 10 for the plant workshop with the extension office with the 4-H.
Correct.
Yes, I see extension 4-H. It's the same people.
Oh, okay.
They work. It's extension office runs the 4-H. So they
Okay.
yeah.
Because the 4-H does come to the library, but it's always the third Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that'll be with Tamara now, I think.
Yes.
So very good. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's all technically extent, but it's all kind of they all work. They all do. Like Drew does a bunch of stuff for 4-H. So
Right.
You say either way, you're covered. You're not gonna
Right.
get in trouble.
I think Tamara is more for children, and then
And
Drew is
Drew,
more.
well,
is
Drew
for
does a lot
adults.
of the agriculture for like
Right.
commercial and all that. So I mean, as well as like if you got questions about your
Right.
garden and stuff, you go to the extension office, ask for Drew. He'll help you with all that.
Right.
Or definitely come out tomorrow and talk to him. But
Right.
and then when it comes to all the home ec or the diabetes and the cooking creations and those programs they do, that's Tamara. She
Right.
does all that stuff.
Right.
And they have a 4-H agent who just went to. She's now over working for ENMUR. But so there will be a new 4-H agent at some point. But
Okay.
they're in limbo right now. So.
Okay.
So Drew and Tamara are running it.
Yes.
Very good. But come on out. They do, like I said, they do.
Right.
Drew comes out once a month with the plants, and then 4-H comes out with the
once a
once a
month.
month with the craft of some kind each
Right.
month. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Good deal. I'm sorry, we got sidetracked there.
And Sunday, since we're open from 2 to 6, we're going to have a craft from 2 to 3. We're going to be doing a Be Kind bracelet.
Okay.
And it's a family event.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
come the whole family can make bracelets and then wear them out and go to family events matching.
There you go. There you go. On the 28th, the following Saturday, we're going to have a movie and popcorn at 11 a.m. and the movie's going to be Avatar.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be the original one.
The first Avatar,
All
which
right.
so plan on 3 hours because that's a long movie.
I know. Be ready for a whole bunch of popcorn, I guess.
Get comfortable and come hungry because you're going
Right.
to be there for a long time. It's a long movie, but it's a good movie. But it's a 3 hour movie. Just to warn you. So if you got
Right.
younger kids, they might not have the attention span to get through that
Right,
Oh,
one.
that's true.
But you're the parents. You judge best on that.
Right, and they can come, and if the kids get a little squirrely, then you can just leave.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go take
or into
outside
the
and run around
library.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go see the learning tree and run around it for a little.
Okay.
Expel some energy and then
There
come
you
back and
go.
pay attention. So very good.
Okay, on the Sunday the 29th, we're going to have crocheting. And we had our first crocheting this past Sunday, and it's from 3 to 4, and we had like 15 people come out. So we had a large crowd.
Excellent.
Bigger than the room we were in, so next time we're going to be in a bigger room.
To crochet a bigger room.
People can spread out a little bit better.
Nice. So do they work on like one project together, or are they do like the Afghan or something like the pot holders to put together? Or are they doing?
We have a lady named Sabrina who's actually leading the class.
Okay.
And she's teaching everyone because we have a lot of people who have never crocheted.
So
or
it's the basics right now. Gotcha.
And she's gonna teach them how.
Tissue hold covers.
That's true.
Yeah. Mom made a few of those in her day.
Pot cozies,
Yeah.
whatever, toaster cozies.
My mother passed away in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I've still got 80,000 pot holders that my mom made, and I keep them all because they're my mom's. But,
Right.
But yeah, I will never need a Afghan or a pot holder ever again. I'm good to go.
You can sell them on Etsy.
I could. Well, that was always a thing. I used to tell my mom, why don't you go to craft fair? She never sells her. She keeps it or gives it away. That's all she ever did. She would never sell it. I was like, Mom, you could make a lot of money going to craft fairs and selling this stuff. And she either gave it as presents or kept them.
Right.
And that was the only time she never sold them. So we had a lot of blankets and a lot of stuff. Still do.
Keeps you warm.
Exactly. And it's family. It's more personal at this point. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would never give them away at this point.
Right.
But I'm good to go. If you're warm and need a blanket, come to my house.
Yeah. can hook you up.
That's right. Very good. But so if you're into crocheting and want to learn that, come out to their next meeting. They're still in that introductory. So if you've never done it, you can probably pick it right up and get caught up with the group pretty quick.
And it's all ages, so we had children and adults there.
Love that. That's great because if you get that bug in that kid, that's something they're going to be doing their whole life.
Right.
And you'll be like my mom watching TV all day. And,
making pot holders.
And whole conversations and counting because they count a lot.
Right. Right.
Very good. What's next we want to get on the radar?
Okay. On the Saturday, February 4th, we're going to have of course, our chess club. So I just want to remind everyone that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So come and practice chess.
Right, all levels, beginners, whatever.
Well, that's the beauty of chess. To be honest, it's not hard to learn. You can learn the game in 5-10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's mastering it and the strategy and everything that takes the rest of your life to. That's why people devote their whole lives to it, and because it literally is all about strategy and. But yeah, as far as learning how the pieces move, you can do that in 5 minutes.
Right.
Then you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to come up with the best strategy.
Exactly. Yes.
But it's very cool. But yeah, if you want to come out and it's a great logic, peaceful. It's if you need folks, especially for kids that need that that critical thinking skills and working. Chess is a great tool to help teach some of that stuff.
And we have kids that come that are learning, that know a little. So
yeah, plus it teaches patience. There's so many different good values that especially young people can kind of absorb by just learning and playing the game of chess.
Right.
So come out to one of the chess.
Yeah, it's always the first Saturday of the month.
Yeah. So you missed for January, but you'll be good for next month, February, whatever that first February is. 4th. There you go.
Yeah. And then on February 4th, also that day, we're going to have a STEM activity.
Okay.
And it's going to be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and they're going to be dealing with circuits.
Okay. So kind of learning the closed and open circuits and relays and rudimentary electronics.
Exactly.
So if you always wanted to know, like if you maybe you have a child that has aspirations to be an electrician or that, very good money, by the way.
Yes.
Give them the basics.
And we have the little kit, and they can make the one that makes up the bell ring and the light come on. So it's a little fun.
It's more that it's educate. We had stuff like that when we were a kid when they were teaching us how circuits work and little bells and lights and all. It's that same kind of thing. It's just explaining to them how electricity works, how it travels, the dangers of it, obviously, and what you can do with it.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I love that. I mean, to me, that's every kid should go through that and experience it because let's face it, everything in this world, especially nowadays, electricity's a part of it. You can't even do anything with the internet and everything else, and just so to have the basic understanding, and at least so you know the dangers and the safety part of it.
Okay.
So you know that's not all of us are going to grow up to be electricians or electrical engineers, but you at least know if you understand the concept of electricity, that way you can avoid the dangers of it. So, but it's a good tip for kids too.
Right. Right.
I think something every human being should have that skill set on them at some point in their lives.
Yes, they all need it.
Yeah. You all use it. We all use it. So we at least have an understanding of how it works.
Right.
So, yeah.
For minor household repairs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to swap out a light switch or something, and you know why you trip the breaker before you start getting into there.
You learn the hard way.
Yeah, that's an enlightening experience. Pardon the pun. But very good. What's next we want to talk about?
A big thing that's coming up is on Sunday, February 5th, from 2 to 3, we're going to have a chocolate social. And we're going to have the Roswell Flute Ensemble playing. We're going to have...
They're very talented, by the way, if you've never seen the flute ensemble. I always I tend to catch them at the Christmas Railway. I seem to the weekend I always go to that seems to be the time that they're there performing.
Right.
And they I think it's every Thursday, but I'm not sure. They practice and meet at the Anderson Museum on Thursdays. I don't know if it's every year. And they're always looking for new members, but you have to be an experienced flautist or flute player because they're not teaching people to play the flute. They're looking for people that played in high school or played in some kind of orchestra or something and know how to play a flute. And they go and then when you see them perform, that's why, because they're really good. So.
Oh yeah, they played a couple of years ago at our Christmas program, and they did name that tune with the flute. And so the kids enjoyed that. They got a prize if they could name that tune.
Yeah, so they're very talented. So so come if you've never seen the flute ensemble, come out to the library and have some candy while you're at it.
Right. It's going to be on February 5th from 2 to 3, and it's going to be chocolates and pairing books with chocolates and the flutes and probably some games. So
I was just thinking, can I get a milkshake and use the flute to suck up the milkshake?
You would have to ask the flutist or flautist.
Yeah, I'm sure they would frown upon that. But
they'd be like, no.
That's one way to get into chocolate. Big chocolate shake with a flute as a straw. But anyway, that's just my fantasy, I guess.
Okay.
And what's the date on that again?
February 5th. It's
February
the first Sunday in February.
Very good. So here in about 3 weeks or so.
Right.
Which is coming up quick, by the way.
Yes.
Good deal.
And then we just have our monthly another big program we're going to be having, and it's at the end of February, and I'll probably be back to talk about it again, but we're going to have an Eric Call Day.
Okay.
On February 25th. It's a Saturday from 10:30 to 1, and it's going to be games, and we're celebrating the author Eric Call.
Oh, okay.
And he's the one that wrote the Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
That's a event that's coming. I'll probably be back to talk about that later.
I'm sure by then, but put it on people's radar.
Yes.
Speaking of radar, if you have not done so, go to the library and pick up the January and February calendar. It's you can, of course, you can get online and do it that way. But if you like to have something to look at to put on the refrigerator, each month they put out the new calendar. Not only will it have January's on one side, but next month's on the other side, so you can kind of see. Plan for the next several weeks on events there, and then just get it every month. That way you can circle and kind of pick, all right, kids, what do you want to do this month? And they can kind of, plot and plan.
Right.
And then, but if you're more into high tech, you can go on to your phone or go and like and follow the Roswell Public Library on Instagram
we're not really keeping up with our Instagram, so it's just mostly Facebook.
Just Facebook right now. Okay,
yes.
So Facebook. And then, of course, the city's website, if you go to roswell-nm.gov, there's a tab there for the library. You click on that. That'll take you to the library portion, and there you can check out materials to get assistance on other things. And there's a whole world that you can explore there at the website.
And we're also list our programs on the event calendar, the Roswell.
On the city website event calendar there. So if you want to check in periodically with that every week to kind of see, okay, what's the library got going on this week, and you can kind of
along with other agents, parts.
Oh yeah, it's not just library; it's city council meetings and everything city related. So the cemetery board meetings to exciting stuff to not so exciting stuff. So it's all there. You laugh though. The cemetery board meetings can get quite entertaining because.
Oh really?
Well, but there's people get passionate about their loved ones and things, and if something's not done right out there,
I can imagine.
People, and rightly so, get upset about it. If I personally don't have any family members out there, but if I did and I was seeing something not
done correctly,
quite kosher, then I'm gonna say something about it.
You're gonna make a point of mentioning it.
But that's where you go.
There, he helped you with something else.
Exactly. Don't go there if you need hey, where do you go to get one of these plots? You got a salesman or something. How does that work? I don't know. But anyway, find everything you need there at the city. Just curious. Over the holidays, did anybody take advantage of the tourism pass?
Not really.
So I wish people would. I don't know what we could do to get people to take advantage. That thing should always be checked out the way I see it.
Right. It feels like it doesn't really get checked out like spring break. We'll probably get some
popular
families.
Times when people are known to take vacations or travel. Yeah.
Right, and they're not going like the holidays. They're actually going to family members.
Sure. Yeah, they got an agenda already, and they're like, all right, we got to go to Cousin Sue's, or we got to have eggnog at Aunt Betty's.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if you're not aware of this thing, the library has available to you to check out, thanks to the New Mexico Tourism Department. It is a pass that allows up to 6 people to get in for free at various museums and other visitor-type locations. Some of them are museums, some are art galleries, some are like Lincoln or like a natural, like the Pueblo, the cliffs. Some of it's that kind of history kind of stuff. But there's
I think like 15 or so.
Yes, about 15 on that list.
Around the state. From,
Right.
From our neck of the woods to up Albuquerque north.
Right.
To Weston Cruces and all that
Right.
area. And so if you go traveling to any of these parts of the state, you can use this and you can go online or go ask the library, and it shows you a list of every venue that it's accepted at.
Right.
And you can get a family of 6 into free for these events. And I know like Lincoln's on there. And this is I give this example because I know what that costs when you go to Lincoln, and it costs, a family of 4 is probably going to cost you $30 or $40 to go through there. Now you get it for free. And I don't know about you, but I'm like, hey, I just saved my family $40. That's $40 we can go spend on lunch or another event on our trip here, and so and with that one, I think you get a double bonus because I think you can also do the Fort Stanton
yes, you can.
side of it too. So you do it all at once.
And they even tell you because I went to Lincoln, and they even tell you, just go down to Fort Stanton.
And Fort Stanton's cool. I finally got to do that about a year or two ago, and to me, it's as cool, if not cooler, than Lincoln because it covers everything. And I'm getting off sidetracked, but that's what I do. It covers everything from Civil War because that's about the Civil War history of that. That fort changed hands, Confederate to Union several times during the Civil War. But then its role in World War I, and you've heard of General Blackjack Pershing, World War I. He was there at that base, and German POWs during World War I. They talk about all the projects and things that they worked on, kind of like we have some here from World War II.
Right.
With Cahoon Park and all.
Yeah.
That area's got World War I projects from German prisoners that they did that they kept there at Fort Stanton during World War I. So it's got a huge history there. The hospital, it's just so you could easily spend all day just walking around the quarters and the museum. They have a great museum, and of course they talk about there's a cave. If y'all didn't know, there is the Fort Stanton Cave that they talk a whole section about that too. You get in all that for free. So take advantage of this pass. It's really cool. So.
Right.
Sorry, I got on a tangent. But by the way, you can check out the pass.
Right.
Like a book. It's good for 7 days, and you can't renew it. So you check it out for 7 days, and you got to bring it back within the 7-day period or by 7 days. There.
Correct.
So you want to check it out, and you can't reserve it or any of that stuff.
And we have so many. There's really not.
That's never a problem, but it's first come, first serve.
Right.
And like you said, so the smart move is if you're leaving tomorrow for a trip, probably visit the library today, get that check it out. That way you got it, and then when you come back. But I wouldn't check it out for a few days ahead, unless you're just gone for a day or two. But,
exactly.
But you've got 7 days to get it back here. So So plan accordingly. So. What else? Is there anything else we need to mention?
No, just our monthly, our weekly programs, which is the Mother Goose on the Loose, Spanish Mother Goose on the Loose. We have story times on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Yeah. And these are all for like elementary and preschool, right? Depending on the age
all
group.
these are like preschool because they're in school.
I thought some of like the later ones for more elementary age, like the 3 o'clock ones.
Oh well, no, they're all in the morning at 10:30, except for the Spanish Mother Goose on the Loose, which is Tuesday
That's at 3.
At 5.
5, okay.
Yeah.
I'm way off. Jeez, don't listen to me. I'm way off.
Oh my!
But I say this every time, and I'm going to say it again. I don't care if your kid's fluent in Spanish, English, or both.
Right.
Bring them. Well, both. It's awesome. But bring them to either story time. If you have kids that don't speak a lick of Spanish, bring them to Spanish to work.
Right.
Expose them to that, especially with something they're familiar with. So if it's a story like a Mother Goose story that they know very well in English, they hear in Spanish, they can kind of compare and contrast, and that starts the process of them. When we talk, I don't care who it is. The younger you teach kids foreign language, the better. Right. And the more foreign languages your kid has under their belt, the better it's going to serve them wherever they go. Or, even if they have nothing to do with, how handy is it? Just here in Roswell, how handy would it be at the time if you're bilingual?
Exactly.
We could roll into a place and, easily flip from Spanish to, you would world your oyster. And why not give that opportunity for your kids too? So. Send them, and vice versa.
Right.
If your kid only speaks Spanish, and park them into that English one and immerse them in that too.
Right.
So,
and they'll pick up real quick. Yes.
Absolutely. So, but again, give the dates and times for the story times and Mother Goose and the Loose.
Mother Goose, the English one is on Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
And then the Spanish one is at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays. Okay. Then we have a preschool story time that's at 10:30 on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then we have the music and movement one, which is on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m.
Okay. And that's kind of to get those younger kids up and moving around.
Yes.
And
It's a story, then a dance, song. The kids enjoy it. The ones that come, they really enjoy it because you kind of lose them sometimes if the book is a little too long, but that music will bring them back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, because let's face it, you get in the story and it's like, all right, the beginning was awesome, the end was awesome.
I'm ready.
But you need that meat in the middle, and sometimes you got to bring the kids through that a little bit. So, but yeah, it's just all about attention span, and everything else.
Exactly.
It's as they get a little older, they'll be able to sit through that long.
Oh yeah.
But in the meantime, keep them up and moving and physical.
Right.
So, and of course, if you have any questions about any of the preschool story times or any of these, don't hesitate to talk to anyone at the library.
Yes.
Particularly, talk to the children's librarian. She can probably help you a lot better when it comes to some of these. But any of the staff there can give you information on that. And I always say, if you're looking for resources for your children for education, please utilize the library. Talk to the librarians. Every one of them can give you opportunities to help with your children, whether it's through some of these STEM packets and things.
Right.
Excuse me, that you can take home and do with your children to online services that you can plug your kids into to get help, to just, hey, let me get you some books and here's some things and here's just stuff that's source material in the library that you can just check out and do at home with your kids or whatever. But whatever direction you want to go with it, talk to the library. They can help. And and I don't care what anybody says. We kids have been back to school for a year, but we're still playing catch up with COVID and getting kids at the levels they should be when it comes to their education. So that's not going to happen without people stepping up and doing extra things. And the library is your best friend when it comes to
and everything is free.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, it doesn't cost you a dime for any of it.
And if you bring your child and it's a program and they're not really interested, you don't feel that you have to sit. You can leave. So it's just try out things.
Yeah. But you find your routine. But anytime you're a parent and you can incorporate the library in your kid's routine, the younger the better.
Right.
Because it's like anything else. You're instilling habits. You're creating patterns.
Right.
And if you've got these kids going to story time and picking up reading at ages that before school, how much more successful they're going to be, and just that love of read and love of
and then also it teaches them to sit still. So
and let your kids pick their own books in the library. I mean, if you're in a bookstore, things you got to be a little bit, but that's the good news about the library is you put them in a kids section. It's like turn them loose and they'll be fine.
Right.
Just any book here, but let them pick their own stuff. Let them, because when they get school age, there are going to be enough people telling them what exactly to read. And that's how a lot of us lose our love of reading. Is when you get told what to read and reading things that's not your thing, and then you look at it as a chore instead of a pleasure.
Right.
But if you let these kids read their Dr. Seuss or whatever they're into at this point, by the time they get of that age, they're still going to have that love of reading. They'll muster through whatever schoolwork they had to read, but then they're like, I'm not done reading. I want to pick up.
Now I can go read
whatever, Stephen King or Grisham or whatever they're into now, whatever it is. So that's kind of, cool. But that's what I like about it. You're setting the table. That was I wish that happened to me because I didn't pick up reading till like a teenager late, and it was more. And I'm lucky because that was in a time before internet and things. So you're looking for something to occupy the brain. You got a book. Nowadays, everyone gets on their phone and does that and all. But I grew up in a generation where I was like, and so I just got books and I was like, as a kid, I was lucky enough to visit a lot of Civil War battlefields and things, and when I was in the Scouts. So I just had a natural interest by learning some of the facts about the battles and some of the generals and what took place. So that kind of sparked my reading. I was like, oh, let me read this book, and I'm not trying to brag or sound like I'm a bore, but I was a kid who was like 17. I'm reading like Ulysses S. Grant's memoir.
Because that was your interest.
Exactly. But let's face it, there ain't a lot of 17-year-olds that want to crack open Ulysses S. Grant's memoirs.
Right.
And by the way, it reads pretty good. By the way, it doesn't read like someone from 100+ years ago. It was pretty coherent for me to read and interesting too. But that's what I'm saying. I did that on my own, and when it wasn't a teacher telling me, it was just I found that, and it was because of that reading as why I had that, and to be honest, why am I a jack of all trades on radio and I talk? because I read. I loved. Then I started reading the books about the Apollo missions, and so I loved that history because I started. Then I'm like, to be honest, I remember watching one of the Wyatt Earp movies as a kid, and I was like, what? So I read about 3 more books about Wyatt Earp and his family and all that, just because, that to me that was the fun part. I was using movies to learn more about other. Like I watched The Right Stuff, and I'm like, this is really cool. I want to. And so I started reading books about the Mercury 7 and the Apollo and the Gemini and all. That's what I'm saying. Library can be that for you. And you don't have to be in what I'm into, but whatever. If you're watching, I don't know, My Little Pony, and you're all like, wow, this is really cool. And then you go and do your own research on that world and things. Yeah. But that's where books bring you.
Right.
And every parent needs to make sure they give their kid that opportunity. That's to me, it's not a question of if you should, it's the sooner the better.
Yes.
Sorry, another tangent, soap opera. What I do. Is there any other information, dates, anything we want to make sure we get on people's radar?
No, that'll be it for until I come back next time.
Till next time, next month here. But again, if you have any questions, you missed anything, you can always call the library. Really happy to help you. And again, you can go to the website, roswell-nm.gov, click on the library tab. Unless you want to learn more about city council and all that, it's all there, but there's a library tab. And then, of course, you can come by the library, and don't forget, follow the Roswell Public Library on Facebook.
Right.
And you can stay up to date on pretty much everything through that, too. So, and see like the artwork, and see, it's good to like it, because say you missed Lego Night or something. A lot of times they'll take pictures of some of the art and some of the things that came out of Lego Night, and then you look, here's what you missed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good. Well, as always, appreciate the visit.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
You probably have to work some of it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, your weekends are a little different than everybody else's weekends. And we'll see you here next month.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am, as always.
Thank you.
It is 9:51. Let us.
And it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect, and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Currently, 20.6 million people under winter storm warnings.
Brian Hurley at the National Weather Service.
We do look for, 6 to 12, possibly more accumulations stretching from northern portions of the Ohio Valley into southern Michigan, as well into the upstate New York and northern New England.
A vigil's been held in a Los Angeles area community grieving the loss of 11 people killed in a mass shooting last weekend.
Monterey Park City Clerk Michelle Yee says the community will not be defined by the heinous act of one person.
We are strong. We are resilient. We will heal.
and will rise again. 6 women and 5 men were killed in the shooting at the Star Ballroom. They all ranged in age from 57 to 76 and had gathered to celebrate the Lunar New Year. I'm Donna Warder.
Schiff and Swalwell are out. True to his word, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has formally barred Democrats Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell from the House Intelligence Committee. The House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries nominated the 2 Democrats for the panel despite McCarthy's repeated pledge to give them the boot. In a letter to Jeffries, McCarthy writes that integrity matters more than previous years of service on the Intel Committee. Growing concern over the handling of sensitive government documents following word that some classified documents turned up at the Indiana home of former Vice President Pence. His lawyers say Pence willingly turned the materials over to authorities. A sell-off this morning on Wall Street. The Dow down 372 points. The Nasdaq is off 216 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz confirms his government will supply tanks to Ukraine.
The long-awaited decision comes after U.S. officials said on Tuesday that a preliminary agreement has been struck for the U.S. to send M1 Abrams tanks to help keep pushback Russian forces entrenched in East Ukraine. Scholz had insisted that any move to provide Ukraine with powerful Leopard 2 tanks would need to be closely coordinated with Germany's allies, chiefly Washington. By getting the Biden administration to commit some of its own tanks, Berlin hopes to spread the risk of any backlash from Russia. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Hundreds of protesters have rallied near the central bank in Iraq's capital, Baghdad, angered by the recent devaluation of the Iraqi currency, demanding the government take action to stabilize the currency. The protesters, mainly young people, rallied amid a heavy security presence. News and analysis, townhall.com. The Tesla CEO spent several hours on the stand on day 3 of testimony in a lawsuit by investors in the EV manufacturer.
Elon Musk told jurors hearing the class action lawsuit that he did not mislead Tesla shareholders about obtaining financing in an aborted buyout. The billionaire insisted that he could have pulled off the deal had he wanted. His lawyers sought to portray Musk as a trustworthy business leader capable of raising as much money as needed to pursue his visions. But the defense must overcome a ruling by the presiding judge that Musk's 2018 tweets about securing financing for Tesla buyout were false. I'm Norman Hall.
Microsoft says it's investigating problems with its online services, including its Teams messaging platform and Outlook email system, after users around the world reported outages. And again on Wall Street this hour, the Dow is down 371 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Chris Invierno.
Oh, Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Hey, salespeople just handed me a stack of giveaways.
Yeah.
And something else.
And some other stuff we'll get into in a minute.
But be listening, because the grand opening of Kalichi's is coming next week.
Absolutely. February 4th, Saturday.
Yeah. And I've got some $15 gift cards that they handed me to give away to people like you, the
So
listener.
we'll be giving you the chance to win. Be listening for your cue to call.
That's right.
It's always fun. You can break out the old radio tropes.
That's right.
Be listening. But what caught me is because you said be listening. Do you remember the whole be dialing thing? Be dialing. Okay, so I bring it up because Don West. You know who Don West is?
I know the name.
Familiar? He's a famous radio broadcaster slash. He was probably more well known as a commentator on Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
For years, but he's got this very distinct voice, and in the 90s he would do these infomercials where he would sell baseball cards.
Okay.
And he coined, or I don't know if he coined the phrase, but he really cemented the phrase, be dialing. He's like, open up your own card store. We got baseball cards galore. You can open up your own card store. Be dialing. You're not going to find deals like this anywhere else. So that's when you said, whenever I hear the phrase be listening or be dialing, I always think of Don West.
See, that reminds me of my days in the late 80s, early 90s, back when my uncle lived in our house with us. And my uncle, we talk about Uncle Jim. This is the uncle, the Redskins of Dan Snyder, that same man. He liked his gambling. He used to, the ponies. That was one of his things. But he got me and my brother, and even my mom and dad to an extent, on Sunday mornings, getting up at 7, 8, whatever time you wake up.
Right.
And the first thing we're watching is the bookies doing their pick'em shows. And it's all these mafia dudes. Literally, episode of Sopranos. Hey, you want this one? Hey.
They're all randomly sitting in an Italian restaurant.
Call the gold phone. I got the lot for you.
Around a plate
Forget
of
about
spaghetti.
it, But they used to have this, I think he's Jewish. Because that's the way they talk.
Shmuley, come here.
Yeah. And and if I remember right, he kind of had a big bird's nest for a hairdo. And he had this, I'm the guy that you need to turn to type voice.
Right.
And he used to say, call the gold phone. And he'd do this symbol. He goes, and he'd do it with his hands. He goes, I'm the 1, 2, turn 2. And he would take the 1 and then the number 2 and then turn it and then go back to 2.
Oh my God, I love that.
And so
I'm the 1, 2, turn 2.
Yeah.
That's right up there with 2 and 2 levels of thought.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there in a mirror. He's like, I'm the 1, 2, turned. Oh my God.
And that was his move. And
That's amazing.
I was fascinated by it. Loved it. Every week I was like, let's see what he's got to say today. Call the gold phone. I got you locked. And all of that. They used to do that. Do you want to try these?
I don't know, because I'm going to be over here. I'm not going to be on camera.
I don't know. So after, sorry, we got
this chair's been royed. Hold on.
We got into this conversation, but so we got the Kalichis we're going to be giving away over the next week or so. Be listening for that. And but if you remember, over the holiday, our sales manager procured us a half dozen different weird flavored
Archie
candy
McPhee
canes.
brand candy canes. They come up with weird flavors of candy canes.
Yes, we tried anything from sardines to
sour cream and onion.
That was the bad one.
That was terrible. Caesar salad, macaroni and cheese, and then bacon. I think was the other one.
Bacon was the other one. Yeah.
This is one that was a little late
This one was on back order, apparently. But we got another flavor.
My God, he's persistent. He got it to us. These are hot dog flavored candy canes.
Yeah.
Which feels super appropriate in almost February. Let's break out some candy canes.
So we will, because we're stupid and we do these things.
Yeah. Some people are investment bankers.
We're going to sample the hot dog candy cane now. Y'all can watch.
You guys want in?
You're more than welcome.
You want some of this hot fire? All right. I'm just gonna bring it. Oh, the smell instantly when I open the package it's very meat forward.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna snap this in half, and these are all wrapped, so bear in mind. I'm just gonna snap one cane in half.
You want a lick, Roy?
You want in on this?
The way you phrased that was
meat forward.
no. Do you want to lick Roy?
There's a comma there.
Context, all right. Context.
You want to lick?
Here you go.
Comma Roy.
Put it this way. Let's rephrase that. Do you want a piece of candy you can hold on to for a couple of weeks? Here, I'll give you this because it's already wrapped. Oh my gosh, the smell! I don't know if you guys are picking up on that. Yeah. It's meat and candy.
It doesn't smell like hot dog.
No, it smells like Vienna sausages. Exactly. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, here goes.
All right, let's do this.
Oh no! No! Oh, that is. Oh my God! It's like sweet Vienna sausage.
Well, if you lick it, it's a minty feel to it.
Oh.
Ooh, there's the meat.
I left the room because I'm afraid I'm going to swear.
It tastes like minted potted meat.
And you wonder why I said no.
Oh my God!
Oh, we knew it was going to be bad.
Oh no.
You know what though?
Oh, that's the worst thing.
Sour cream and onion is still worse.
No, that's by far the worst.
To me, no.
I left
this
the room
better.
because I was afraid I was going to cuss.
Really?
Yes.
To me, the sour cream and onion is worse than that one.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
loving this.
Well, I bit it. I chewed it. Go ahead and take a bite.
I took a little piece.
Take a little nibble. Oh my God, I can't get the taste out of my mouth. And it was instantaneously just like potted meat / Vienna sausages. Yeah.
Yeah, it's minty potted meat.
It's not even minty.
No, I catch a hint of the mint.
You like it, don't you?
I mean,
he likes it.
To me,
hey, Mikey.
No, I don't like it.
To me,
I don't hate it.
To me, the sour cream and onion one's way worse. This one's not
the
as
sour
bad.
cream and onion one is worse because the scent of it stayed on your fingers. I washed my hands 3 separate times and it wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
No, you are. But we'll get to the important stuff later.
It's not the worst one, in my opinion.
Oh my God! No, he said dumbass, and I'm going with it.
It's not the worst one.
Oh my God!
It's so salty.
Yeah, I've had worse.
It has a gummy.
Oh, yeah, that one's not too bad.
Sorry, it smells like rotten meat.
Yeah, you might want to throw these away. Just throw them in a trash can.
Actually,
outside
Roy, you
somewhere.
want to hold on to that?
Oh, it's on my breath.
He said, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be.
I ain't gonna lie. I just breathe, and all I smell is that hot dog candy cane. It's not good.
What I'm saying, it's got some hang time to it. Let's just leave it at that.
It's not a pleasant smell.
We're gonna hold on to these for later because that's enough.
I'm sorry. I feel like I got a dog's mouth right now for breath.
Why, thank you, sir.
I think I have some bacon mints in the other shelf over there.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, note to self. I should have had a certs or something after this one. This one I needed.
Maybe now you just need a real candy cane.
Where's Thomas with those breast strips he always carries on him? I need one of those right now.
He just left the building.
I need one of his breast strips. Oh.
He shook my hand as he walked out the building.
Well, he handed us that box of evil, and then he left. Well, you are listening to Jen and Lee. They're with American Legion Post 61. They're my guests this hour.
Well, I don't think we're going to live.
Yeah. They're ready for the weenie roast. But
No. I think I'm swearing off hot dogs.
There is sometimes some casualties when it comes to doing radio. It just happens sometimes. But
it's certainly clearing out my sinuses.
No, I really do want to get a soda or something to wash.
Yeah,
I need something.
You need something.
You smell my breath from here?
Yeah, it's yeah, and you
It's
wonder
still
why I
lingering
said
from-
no. I could smell it in the package.
Well, we've eaten crickets on this show. I've eaten. What else have we done? We've done all kinds of stuff.
So you're joining the Klaus Schwab.
Oh, we've been doing this for years. I've been those sodas, those weird sodas. We've been drinking those.
Like kitty piddle and
We
stuff.
do all. I've done even back in the day, the old mixed morning show with Sean and I. We ate. He ate dog food. I didn't eat the dog food. He tried to drink a gallon of eggnog in an hour. That didn't work. It
reminds me of that WKRP in Cincinnati episode where they were drinking alcohol on air and testing their reaction.
Oh yeah,
time.
that's a common thing they do in every city. That this is different.
And his Hessman's reaction time got better the drunker he was. You know?
Yeah, that's a bit they do on radio stations everywhere. But what was the other thing? Oh, we did Russian roulette with the Harry Potter jelly beans years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Way back when those were popular.
Yep.
We actually did it with a guest. We had a guest that was willing to do that with us.
Don't adjust your set. We have entered the twilight zone.
When we're not talking normal things, this is what we do. So,
I see.
All right, it is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. If you like 40s, you're going to love this week.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks pretty good over the next couple of days. Low pressure is out of the way, and we have high pressure building over the central Rockies, and that'll be covering us with sunshine today. Afternoon high in the low to mid 40s. Few clouds for the overnight hours and low 20s, and then we get sunshine for Thursday. We'll stay in the low 40s for the afternoon high. Upper 40s to low 50s and sunny on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. It's currently 33 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 82%. Winds are calm at the moment. Mostly sunny today. 45 are expected high with winds out of the west 5 to 10. Tonight, partly cloudy. Overnight low of 20 with north winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, cooler than today, but just by 2 degrees. 43 for a high under mostly sunny skies. North winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 17. Southwest winds at 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny and 49. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10. And then for the weekend, Saturday, 56 and mostly sunny. Sunny and 57 on Sunday. And it looks like we'll be floating around the upper 50s, at least for the first half of next week. All right. It is... Ooh, I just burped. It is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. That was not gross. That was not pleasant. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to, I don't know, put some bleach in my mouth or something. We'll be back on the other side. We'll have the folks from American Legion Post 61 join us. Don't go away.
We teach our kids to say please and thank you to total strangers. But we get so familiar in our marriages and families, we stop being polite to each other. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie Smotherman, for the Joy of Marriage.
In the love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13, it says that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. We emphasize being polite to each other in our family, which promotes an attitude of respect and brings peace in our home. Remember your manners with the person you love the most. Appreciate the things they do for you and let them know.
Being polite to each other can help you avoid conflict. Let's be polite to strangers, but let's not give our best to the people we don't live with. Let's give our best to each other.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Drive into 2023 with a little extra fold-in money during Sell-Off Mania at Roswell Honda. With savings across the lot, like a 2015 Toyota Camry for just $289 a month, a 2017 Kia Optima for just $259 a month, or a 2016 Hyundai Elantra for just $189 a month. Get a 12-pack and grab cash from the Cash Cube just for stopping by, a gas card or a smartwatch with a test drive, and an Amazon gift card with any purchase. And sign up to win a $400 Visa gift card to be given away Saturday, January 28th at 1 p.m. Sell-Off Mania, on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Wilbanks Trucking Services in Artesia is seeking dedicated and motivated individuals to join their team. Immediate openings include CDL drivers with pay starting at $25 to $33 per hour depending on experience. Riggers with pay starting at $20 per hour and open positions for lease operators. Wilbanks Trucking Services offers full benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and housing for out-of-town employees. For more information on career opportunities, please call 575-7 746-6318 or online at willbanks.us. Willbanks Trucking Services is an equal opportunity employer.
When Rhonda was experiencing severe abdominal pain, she knew she could count on Artesia General Hospital's emergency department to provide critical care any time of day or night.
I didn't think twice about driving the 45 minutes from my home to Artesia's ER. I felt like I was their only patient. Excellent care from everyone, and I'm thankful beyond measure.
Each year, thousands of patients trust Artesia General Hospital with their health emergency. With specialty certifications in advanced adult and pediatric life support and trauma care, their emergency room physicians have the experience you need when every second counts. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/emergency.
With the hustle, bustle, and bright lights of the holidays in the rearview mirror, it's time to ease into the new year with a new car or truck from your friends at Roswell Ford. Because nobody makes car buying easier. With more than 500 pre-owned vehicles in stock and brand new units arriving all the time, finding the perfect vehicle is easy. A 3-day money-back guarantee on all pre-owned vehicles makes the decision easy. No payments for 90 days easily gives you time to put those holiday expenses behind you. And with a goal of 100% credit approval, Roswell Ford even makes financing easy, regardless of your credit situation. And we happily accept I-10s. Like I said, easy. So make some time and come see what we have for you at the Tailgate Nation. Whatever you're looking for, you can count on Roswell Ford to keep it simple and make it easy. We're waiting for you now at the corner of 9th and Main, so we're even easy to find.
Happy New Year from the Plateau family to yours. Give your whole home the gift of ultimate connectivity in 2023. For a limited time, receive a free Visa gift card when you sign up for a True Fiber Internet plan from Plateau. Up to $250 for new True Gig customers. With Plateau's True Fiber Internet, get unbelievable speed for streaming, gaming, working from home, and so much more. And for a limited time, new customers get a free Visa gift card. Learn more and sign up now at plateautel.com. plateautel.com. Offer valid only for new customers within the Roswell Fiber Connected Zones, now extended through January 31st, 2023.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, officially now, I have a breath mint thanks to Jen. That's helped. Jen and Lee with American Legion Post 61 family joining us today. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How's life treating everybody?
Well, it was going good until we walked in here.
So you got that waft of hot dog candy cane?
Oh, yeah.
I could smell it in the package.
Yeah, that was something special.
Yeah, you caught it just to peel back of the curtain of things that we do from time to time.
Yeah.
And if I sound a little strange, it's because I have two breath mints.
Yeah, he had to go two and even eat one. He had to, it does have an aromatic.
It does, yeah.
But good news is, because I drank
if
soda.
you tell your guests you don't have future interviews, just saying it's a deprecating maneuver.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. So, of course, for those not familiar, Jen and Lee join us once a month, give us an update what's happening with American Legion Post 61 and the family here going on. Always looking for new members, we got different events. We're always getting involved in helping people in some way, shape, or form around town here. And so, as you mentioned last time we talked to you, this is kind of a bit of a quiet time, but now we're starting to get into the busy time as we roll into February here. And
yeah,
into the
first
spring.
week of February starts us on the roller coaster. Mm-hmm. We got mid-year conferences and stuff. It's just not necessarily a post-level thing, but it's
State level.
State level, yeah.
Yeah, where all of the posts in the state get together.
Our state officers, we're out of town for days.
Yeah.
And
so do y'all go to Albuquerque for this one, or?
Yeah, this one's going to be Albuquerque.
Yeah, the state conference in the summer is going to be in Las Cruces.
Las Cruces.
Ah,
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of nice. The state conferences give us a chance to meet up with other posts and units and exchange ideas and compare notes and see how we can do better.
Sure, absolutely, and it's what American Legion posts in say the northern end of the state may be doing something different, and so it's that networking thing. And say, hey, what are you guys doing down there? And so it's a great idea. We should incorporate it here.
Jen is in charge of District 6 for her units.
Mhm.
So she's got more responsibilities than just her unit. She's got a whole slew of them.
About half a dozen or so.
Yeah. So it's so. Needless to say, a lot of road trips, a lot of phone calls, a lot of.
But it's really nice because you get to exchange ideas and converse with people that have different options available to them, so that you can bring those home and do better in your own community. Sure, which is kind of
Plus, you get the lay of the land of every other places around, and
it's just nice to hang out with other folks that are doing the same thing you are.
absolutely, that's and that.
Or you can learn what not to do.
Well, sometimes there's
Plenty of good examples of that from time to time.
yeah,
too.
like the hot dog candy canes.
Right. Definitely no.
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been the example of what not to do for a lot of things.
I don't know. Maybe we get a fundraiser off of this. You know, what's the grossest thing we can have Mike eat on air?
I don't know. I don't know. We don't want to make him sick.
Yeah, I want to die. I don't want to die. That's the other thing. Yeah.
$1 per try, 6 for 5. Yeah.
At least those guys on TikTok videos are making 6 figures doing that dumb stuff. I'm
It's
just
true,
doing
yeah.
it for pure entertainment, I guess. I don't even know why I'm doing it, but
I'm not sure either. But if I could monetize it, I'd be glad to do that.
But one thing we do want to put on the public's radar for next month is the Four Chaplains ceremony,
For sure.
which I talked a little bit about at the beginning of the show when we were kind of explaining it. But that'll be coming up in February here.
Right.
That'll be in the
last
back half
Sunday of the month.
Yeah.
it'll be that whatever that last Sunday is, the 20th.
3 p.m.
Yeah, typically a lot of other communities do the Four Chaplains the first weekend,
Mhm.
but we're going to be in Albuquerque. Everybody knows that the Super Bowl's the next one, so, you know.
Well, and it's ironically weird that you're in Albuquerque for American Legion stuff. So
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of other people having the same issue in this state
Mhm.
of doing it the first weekend because they're
Right.
obligated to other American Legion stuff.
Yes.
So. But, that's another conversation for another day. But
Yeah. So we hold it on the last Sunday
Mhm.
at 3:00 at the First United Methodist Church.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful story, so
Mhm.
if you guys can come out and watch us do that, we would really appreciate it.
it's a reminder, and I explained a little bit of the story, but if you want to kind of read it and get familiar with it yourself before coming to the ceremony, you can type in Four Chaplains, the USS Dorchester, any of these search items will get you the story of the Four Chaplains and why we honor these 4 individuals, why we celebrate their achievements, and why we hope that their actions inspire the next generations to do the same. So that's
Indeed.
why we do it. So, but it's a beautiful and sad story, but an inspiring one.
Yeah. I really wish they'd make like one of those epic movies out of it, because it would make a
It's
fabulous
definitely
movie.
a movie, especially with as many streaming services and as many
Yeah.
different
I mean, it'd make a
entities
great
creating
Netflix thing.
content right now. Why can't Apple Plus or Netflix or somebody come out with one of these as a movie? Because I think a lot of people would really enjoy that movie.
I think
Well,
so.
and a lot of posts in New Mexico don't do the Four Chaplains, and we kind of brought it with us because the namesake of our post, Norman E. Harpole, that was his big thing.
Yeah, he was a chaplain in the American
He was
Legion.
a chaplain for the district, and he
But
was
that
a
dirt
chaplain.
was familiar to him.
Oh yeah, well he wrote a lot of the scripting and stuff like that, and we participated with him every year, and it was always very moving and all that. And then when we came down here and decided to name our post after him, I was like, yeah, we're going to have to do Four Chaplains every year
Yep.
because this honors the legacy of Norm.
It is a tradition that, quite frankly, each year we need to remind ourselves of. And that's why it's done. So, well, as we get close to the event, I'll give you, but it'll be that last Sunday of the month, 3 p.m. at First United Methodist Church.
And hopefully we'll run some ads for it.
Yeah, I just was talking about this morning. I was supposed to do something I didn't do, so I'm going to get yelled at for that. But I'll get it on it. So, but it's free. It doesn't cost anything. We just love, and the thing I love, bring kids, bring young folks, because the more people that hear this story, it just, to me, it symbolizes what this country is all about. And when you hear and see the events that took place, and to me, it's why is this country great? It's because of events like this.
Well, it's
and the
personal
people that
sacrifice is what it is. I mean,
you get to do the things you get to do today because men did things like they did back in their time. So that's why.
And a lot
important.
more people would have died when the Dorchester went down had it not been for these gentlemen who
absolutely
kept everybody calm and saved as many people as they could.
I need to do some research. I wonder if there's any interviews or anything out there on record of survivors and talking about.
There's a whole slew of them. In fact, if you go to the official Four Chaplains website, there's a bunch of stuff like that on there.
I need to go check that out.
Links.
Here's some of the testimony of some of the sailors and things that survived. And
yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there on it.
Yeah, of course. I imagine at this point there's probably not many.
You
of
know,
them
at the
with us
VA
still,
up in
but-
Albuquerque, I think it's the 5th or 6th floor. I can't remember. There's a whole. They created
There's an
a whole
art mural.
bronze.
Yeah, it's an art piece. Yeah,
it's very pretty.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's
not that that's a reason to go to the VA hospital,
But while you're there,
check
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a destination thing, per
Yeah,
se, but
that's right,
it is
yeah.
something while you're there. You know.
Yeah, I don't normally go to a funeral home, but when I do,
Of course, I would imagine that the staff and everything would probably be pleasantly surprised if you just walked up into the VA hospital and said, I don't need anything. I just want to check out the Four Chaplains Memorial.
well,
And I'm sure they'd be like, oh,
it's
great, love to
actually
take you to it.
It's probably happened, but
Yeah.
you'd be amazed at all the people at the VA that don't even know it's there.
Yeah, that's true. I imagine
'Cause they
it's,
just
you
don't
know,
go to that
yeah,
floor or
you know,
whatever.
because you could have served, and if you don't know the story, you don't know the story. So
Mm-hmm.
it's foreign to you. So, you know, it is not they don't teach the story to every military member that signs on the dotted line when they walk in.
Well, there's a
So-
lot of stories to teach, so.
Exactly. So.
Well, it's also like going through Virginia and all those places. You know, as you drive by, you see these signs, and if you don't understand what these things are, you know, like the Civil War memorials and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I mean, you just see the sign and you drive by it every day, but if you never,
You should stop and read 'em.
Never looked at it, you know, you just you're missing out on a lot of history.
I did. You learn a lot of great stuff. You know, one of my favorite ones to stop and hit every time, and it's not military related, is the one on the way to Ruidoso from here, where you hit where the Billy the Kid, Lincoln County. It's John Tunstall's murder site is right there on as you pass, as you go down the main highway between Ruidoso and Roswell here, as you're closer to the Ruidoso side. There is a pull-off there where you get a nice overlook of the area, but there's a historical sign there, and that's where John Tunstall was murdered, and in essence started the Lincoln County War, right there in that spot. And you drive by it every time you go to Ruidoso.
County, though.
Yeah, it is, and it was Lincoln County. This was Lincoln County during the Lincoln County War. When Lincoln County War went
so
on,
you're saying that the counties have shifted.
yes, Chaves County did not exist during the Lincoln County War.
Oh,
We were part of Roswell was a part of Lincoln County during the Lincoln County War.
Which was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
Long
makes
time
more
ago?
sense then,
Yeah.
because I don't know the
Yeah, but this is the
history here.
Check out the signs; they're right
Well,
there.
that's
And
cool.
I tell every New Mexican should spend the weekend in the town of Lincoln and read every single sign and read everything in that courthouse and the museum and everything, because you want to know why this state's so jacked up politically and everything else. Read all that, and by the ton, you're like, oh, now it makes sense. This has been
We here in
this
the
has been
American
a crap
Legion
show since the beginning.
We here in the American Legion are apolitical. That's
But I'm just saying, you want to know why this state's so jacked up? Go to Lincoln and read the history. It was jacked up from the get-go, and it's just been jacked up ever since. So,
kind of a sideline I think is funny is if you go to Denver, they have the Denver office buildings across from the state office buildings. They're basically right next door to each other. And if you look real closely, you can see holes in the wall from cannonballs they used to fire at each other.
wow.
Yeah.
Building to building. So,
Yeah.
most people don't know that.
And where was that again?
Denver.
Okay. You know, I've heard similar stories in like Toledo, Ohio area where they had some family feuds and wars and things, and literally, cannons were fired across the river at each other, and just asinine stupidness. That, that's our history. We got a few of those. Just you think you shake your head at crap you see today? Oh, but wait, we just didn't have the internet covering that crap back then. It's still there.
Yeah. Which is why we try so hard as the American Legion family to lobby for our veterans and our children, because sometimes if
like
no one
the
else is going
Hatfields and
to.
McCoys, the whole thing started over a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
well.
That's half of the major things in history start over something dumb, but
Well,
it is what it is.
Because it's important to the people at the time. Sure. And one of the things I want to share with you folks that's important to us is the Charity Bear project that we're working on.
Yeah, this is something that Post 61 family, mostly the auxiliaries, because they're the ones with the skill set. But
well, there's some folks that know how to sew, and like myself, some that don't.
Yeah. So. But they've been making the charity bears here for about a year or two now, at least.
Almost coming up on a year, I think. And we actually just gave another donation. We actually gave some to the Roswell Refuge.
Awesome.
Because the kids that go in there are in crisis.
Absolutely.
And typically weren't able to grab that stuffy of their favorite. So.
Usually it's a mom or sometimes a dad, but usually a mom with the kid in tow, and they've got the clothes on their back, and that's it.
Right.
And
so we gave them some toiletries and about a dozen of the charity bears to hand out to the kids that need them.
Awesome.
And we also gave some to the sheriff again, so that he has some for his
His
crew.
supply was dwindling. Need to get
well, his burn rate's anywhere from 5 to 7 a month during the cold seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I follow that page. They see a lot.
Yeah, they do.
And you'll see why they go through so many.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the cold season, everybody's close together, and sometimes they don't get along.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And that's why we do this stuff. And because at the end of the day, these kids are in these
they're just caught
rough
in the middle.
situations, and it's like, hey, while the parents and everything, everybody's focusing on whatever's going on in hand, the kids it's like, all right, give them a toy, give them something to make this seem somewhat normal in all this. And so that's, it's really for the mental health of these children that it's done there. And so,
and based on the stories that the sheriff has told us, it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
So your donations have made a difference.
Yeah, everybody I've told that we've done these for, they come back and say, yeah, it does make a difference. It does help. And so, we would love to do more because and not have these issues to begin with, but that's just not possible.
People are people.
So at least we can do this and say, okay, well, maybe this can heal when they pick up the pieces from whatever incident just happened.
Right.
So.
And I know that one of our members, Joy, she was talking with the folks down, and I believe it was Dexter, and they want some as well. So
good deal.
We're still sewing away, making them some charity bears as well.
So we have them go out as sponsorships. They're $10 a piece.
Yeah, to help cover costs.
We really would appreciate
if you want to buy
donate
one
on the website, or if you want to buy one, there's some for $15. But if you want to sponsor them for a child, they're $10, and you can purchase them right off our website if you want to. Just go down to the donation button, which is
kind of like our wreaths across America. You're sponsoring a wreath. You can pay and do it
down by the pillars. Just the donation. Just put in your amount and all that stuff. It's really quick and easy.
And then I guess you could call it the memo line. Just earmark it for charity bears. Yeah, that's what we use.
Just say charity bears and elegant. And of course, if you really want to get involved, come out Thursday nights. Just about every Thursday night, they're at First United Methodist Church. Y'all gather about 5 for dinner, and then about 5:36, y'all get to
5:30.
Yeah, we meet at 5:30. Bring your own meal, and then about 6 we start sewing and cutting out stuff. And like I say, you don't have to know how to sew because I can kind of wing it, but I'm not all that fabulous
tracers,
at it.
We need cutters, trimmers.
Y'all handle it kind of like an assembly line. So okay, you're good at cutting things. You'll cut all these, and then someone down here is going to sew them all together. Someone's going to stuff them. Someone's going to whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, you touched on Wreaths Across America. I got a notice from them. We're going to do it again this year too.
Good.
But they've raised the price from 15 to 17 this year.
Okay.
So
inflation hits everybody.
Inflation for transportation costs. Basically. Yeah. They had to raise the price of each wreath by $2.
Well, I imagine in 2023, this is the year you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Things that have been a set price for many years are going to go up. Like little things that, just like for instance,
like eggs.
Yeah, eggs. But I mean, just things like membership fees and stuff. When you go, because they're like, but the problem is everything's more expensive now. So that $15 you're paying isn't cutting it. They got to bump it to $25 now to get there. You're going to see a lot more of that this year, I think.
I'm sure.
This year and next would be my guess.
So.
Yeah.
Don't want to get political here.
But $17 is not much to
$2
No, it
help.
commemorates the veterans and their service, and it is just a thank you. It's not a decorating of graves. It's an honoring.
It's for the families and for the living. It really is.
Too.
Well, and there's more to Wreaths Across America than just the wreaths. There's also the education portions and stuff.
And I believe
like
they do camps and stuff for the kids too.
But part of it too is just to show these families that we care about the sacrifices your family gave this nation, and we want to thank you for that. And so it helps. And let's face it, you know, when you have a family member that was a veteran and they lost it, and then you hear others honoring them, it makes you feel proud for them, and that's what we do. And you know, it's like, hey, your loved one that you sacrificed for us, we appreciate that, and we can't thank you enough for sharing that person with us. So that's what this wreath across. I mean, that the symbolism behind the actual wreath. But you're right. It goes, you know, those wreaths. It goes into more of the mental health and resources and helping families cope with these issues and things like that too. So the wreath is kind of just the puppet to get to the source of the problem.
It's remember, honor, and teach. And the teach part is just as important as the rest of it. So the funds that they gather are used not just for the wreaths, but to teach the kids about our history and the importance of veterans and why it matters.
Yeah, the kind of the civic side a little bit too, and just that understanding of why these things are important, which, you know, it does feel like we're taking a back seat on some of that in this world today compared to how we used to. But anyway, you can buy wreaths right now. You don't have to wait till the holiday time. The link is there. But like we are aware, most people are around October, November timeframe are going to be interested in this, and they're probably not thinking about
you know,
it.
some communities, they do a monthly donation. Some people do it all in, you know, November or September or whatever.
And you can buy the wreaths whenever. They won't distribute and make them till the time in December. But you know, you can order them now. Do it now, and that way they're ready to go. And you can.
We really rely on donations, and that's the one thing that we need right now is donations. So we get things coming up with, and you know, I hate to say it, even though it's free. It does cost money to do things like the 4 chaplains.
Nothing is free.
Well, I mean, the
everything has a
ceremony
cost.
is free. But
Everything has a cost.
We got our Gold Star coming up in April. Oh, and speaking of which, we just signed on to put a Gold Star monument down here in town. And so we actually need donations. Probably between $50,000 and $100,000.
Yeah, so there's more to come on that because there's a group and faction working on this, and so we're supporting and being a part of that.
Yeah, it's Family 61 is supporting this endeavor. We're going to create a Gold Star monument. It is independent from the one that's up in Farmington. So
yes. But it's bigger than just Post 61. This is more than just us. But we're fully supporting him. By the way, too, I know it doesn't feel like it this week, but spring will be right around the corner, which means we'll be cutting grass again and doing all the things out at Memory Lawn that the winter kind of gives us a bit of a respite on.
We just got a $500 donation, so that's going to help.
Good, but we could use a little bit more.
That only takes us through about July.
So we could use a little bit more money there to pay for gas and equipment and, you know, things as needed.
Right.
Well, and Ralph got his tractor donated to him, and then
you don't know how happy he was when he got that donated.
But there's
he was so
maintenance
happy.
on that, and
it didn't come without work, but it definitely is a godsend for us, and we do appreciate it.
Yes,
absolutely. But if you'd like to, and again, if you go to our website and earmark that money, here's $100, but I want it to go right from. We'll be happy to do that. Or if you drop off a check or whatever,
just earmark it.
We'll earmark it for. We have separate accounts and everything.
I do want to mention. I don't know who the person was, but they contacted the other post.
Okay.
And apparently they're having some issue with their gravestone or whatever. Please call me directly.
Okay.
720-272-4255.
Was it out at Memory Lawn or was it out at South?
Memory Lawn.
Okay.
If you need me to get a hold of management or whatever, I can do that. I don't know the name. All I know is
someone needs help and they.
Yeah, the commander of Post 28 contacted me, but couldn't remember any details and couldn't find the piece of paper he wrote it on. But whatever, if you're listening, call me.
Okay,
I'll help you. So.
Absolutely. If you or reach out to us, I'll get you in touch with.
Absolutely.
Either way, no problem. But we'd be happy to see what we can do to get.
61 is handling the Memory Lawn situation.
Sure.
So,
and we're working with the owner's family and everything. And everything's in concert with what we do with them and what we do.
I talk to the owners at least once a week.
Yeah. So we'll make sure whatever, if there's an issue like some maintenance on a tombstone or something like that,
Right.
dirt fill or something like that, we'll make sure.
We do the dirt fills and stuff like that a little bit, but we don't do some of the major work. But I have a direct line to the owner. So,
and we're not landscapers by trade, so
No.
And let's face it, American Legion isn't full of young people. It just it just isn't.
It would be nice. it would be nice if there were more young folks.
It just isn't. So
Yeah.
you know,
considering you're one of the youngest members,
I know, and I'm 50. So
Yeah. That is true. Like when I go to these big conventions and things, other than the juniors, I'm usually one of the youngest in the room.
You're a child compared to everybody else. Yeah.
So please, come join me.
When I first joined the American Legion, I look around the room and everybody was older than me, and now that's not true anymore.
Now your whiskers
I'm
are
about,
just as
I'm about mid-range.
Yeah.
But that so you know, if you're a veteran, you can even be like just got out a veteran and be like in your 20s and 30s, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
We won't abuse you too much. We won't take advantage of you
Even
going
if
back
you're
too
still
much.
in the service, you can join the American Legion.
Yeah, my
Sure,
sister
and
is.
In fact,
son or-
we will help sponsor you for the first year.
Yeah. And of course, if your dad was, you could be in it as a son. If you're active duty, and your dad was military, you
Yeah,
can go
it
as a son.
amazes me how many people do not know that if your father or your
Grandfather, great
or
grandfather.
whatever, male descendants can join the Sons of the American Legion. Female descendants can join the auxiliary.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you don't have to serve to join this organization. And
If you just support
and,
what the Legion does, we could love to have you a part of that.
Right. And if you have questions or you are not sure exactly if you qualify or not, all of that information is on our website, roswelllegion.org.
And of course, you're welcome to we always meet the first Thursday of every month as a post.
Mm-hmm.
So you're welcome to come to that meeting. Again, 6 p.m. at First United Methodist Church. You're welcome to come for a visit. Come see what we're all about. And if you'd love to be a part of us, we'd love to have you.
Right.
And we're just now in the process of renewing Pack 61 here.
All right.
So for
Another
Cub
year of
Scouts,
scouting for the kids.
probably get that taken care of on Monday, but we need more scouts. So
Yeah.
if
Some of our
this
scouts
is-
had to move, so
this
we
is an
need some more.
American
It
Legion
happens.
sponsored
Okay.
Cub Scout pack.
Yeah, we're all about patriotism, Americanism,
Yeah.
civics, community service.
Yeah. Basically all the same things the Cub Scouts are
Right,
about in the
exactly.
scouting program they're all about.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of common ground there. So
Mhm.
we'd love to have, and of course, with scouting the way it is, boys, girls, everybody are now more than welcome to come be a part of Scout. So if you got a daughter or a son,
They can both be in the same
absolutely.
pack.
come be a part of our pack here. So
Right. And we
but-
need more adult leaders is what we need.
yeah, and that's with the kids come the parents. So
Fingers crossed, hope so.
Cub Scouts is thriving on dead mothers and dead fathers. That's how they survive. So, so yeah, bring your parent with you, and then we can get you involved and they'll teach you how to make all those projects and things.
Oh yeah.
They
And they had a blast last year. They went out camping and all kinds of fun stuff.
it's just hey, let's do all these fun, cool projects with you kids, and they do. And oh, by the way, you get to learn about this different aspects of life and things like that. It's scouting. I will as a product of Scouts myself, I've got nothing but great things. I am who I am because of scouting.
You were an Eagle Scout. weren't
I was
you?
a Girl Scout for a while, and I can
and
say
the term
the
is
same.
I am. They're like Marines. Eagle Scouts are like Marines. Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. You're not,
that's cool.
You are never was an Eagle Scout. You're an Eagle Scout.
I never made it Eagle. Life is as far as I went.
And that's a lot. It's I don't know the numbers now, but when I was in Scouts a few years ago,
Been a minute, huh?
I think 1 out of every 100 Scouts makes Eagle was the stat. But I think it's a little different now. But I'm not sure. But it's a rare thing. Most kids do not stay in long enough or complete to Eagle Scout.
Well,
but once
I
you do,
really
you get
enjoyed the arrow of light thing, but my dog ate the arrow.
Yeah. Now that's the highest thing you can achieve in Cub Scouting, the Arrow of Light, and that's the one thing, unless it's changed since I've been in. That was the one thing you carry over from your Cub Scouts into Boy Scouts, because once you go from
Webelos,
well, Webelos was part of Cub Scouts. When I was in, Webelos was that you go from all right, I know it's different now, but when I was in it was Bobcat, Bear, Wolf, Webelos, Boy Scouts. And that's how it worked. And I think it's a little different now because I think there's a couple years of Webelo and there might even be another rank in there now. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, they also have explorers and stuff.
Yeah, and that's in the scouting side. That's where you get into that's older scouts. That's
right. And the old joke is you have to eat some brownies.
But yeah, and like there's tiger cubs at the very beginning, which wasn't around when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're trying to be inclusive of every age group there is, and well, we got some personalities.
So it's kind of, but I remember Arrow of Light was the one thing you put on your uniform, on your Boy Scout uniform, that you carried over from Cub Scouts.
That's pretty cool.
Thing. And
I know our Cub Scouts are working on the Arrow of Light.
Yeah.
So
it's the biggest thing you can do in Cub Scouting.
Right.
And it's the precursor to the scouting. But anyway, looking for more Scouts leaders there. Again, reach out to our post. Again, you can check out our website anytime. It's roswelllegion.org. And there you can learn more about scholarships. We'll be firing up with scholarships again here before you know it.
We will be making 2 selections here at the next meeting.
Very good. So you can get those applications there. If you want to learn more about membership into our Legion, you'll find everything you need there. If you want to learn more about what we do is our passion projects and things, you'll find it there. And if you want to learn more about becoming a part or want to know just gee whiz factoids about U.S. and military, you'll find some of that there too in our newsletters and what have you too. So lots of pleasurable reading.
I know I'm very behind on the newsletters.
Pleasurable reading as opposed to informative reading on the website too. So, but check it out, roswelllegion.org.
And we do have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do. You can shoot a message there.
Yep.
And someone will get to you if you say if you're the person who's needing help with the graveside work here at Memory Lawn. If Facebook works for you, reach a message that way, and one of us will get to
we'll get back to you.
The commander does not go on the Facebook page, so if you would need to contact the commander, I have to be contacted through email.
Well, they'll delegate.
Commander at roswelllegion.org, or you can call me.
The people that look at it do talk to the commander on
That's
occasion.
true. We do. On occasion, we talk to him.
I believe that Facebook is the evil empire, and I don't have a Facebook.
To be honest, Twitter is the evil empire. Facebook is just its nasty cousin.
I thought I heard that Elon Musk was cleaning it up. I don't have a Twitter account.
I don't know. You can have 37 Elon Musks. Humanity's on that thing, and that's all you need.
Well, there is that.
I don't even know what that means.
It means humanity is awful, and all they do is you could have Jesus Christ himself be the CEO of Twitter, and it'd just be a sea of nastiness because people are awful.
Well, not all people are awful.
Not all, but the ones that type on Twitter all day are.
Well, if nothing else, they are useful for our causes, and for that I'm grateful.
Exactly. We need these evil tools for certain good things. You just got to be very cautious on what everything else that's on.
Yes.
But please reach out. We'll get a hold.
And we'll be doing a shipment to our soldiers overseas here soon.
Okay.
So if you guys want to make either a monetary donation or if you want to donate items, there is a list of items that we're looking for.
Okay.
Obviously, don't bring us batteries and that sort of thing because we can't ship those.
Yeah. But
So
things like jerky and socks and stuff
Snacks
like that.
and
Do
socks and all that
not
stuff.
send candy canes that are flavored with hot dogs.
Yeah, no hot
These
dog
are
flavored
care
candy
packages, not mess with packages.
Right.
Although, based on my time in the military, they'd have a lot of fun with those candy
They
canes.
probably would. Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah, no cinnamon challenges, none of that.
No.
So, very good. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it as always.
Thanks for having us,
We'll
Mike.
see you here next time, if not sooner. So,
okay.
Good deal. And reach out. Come on out. Come out and be a part.
We're meeting tomorrow,
Exactly.
5:30.
All right, it is 9:54. Quick update for news and your New Mexico legislative update as well. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. A shooting at a Roswell business has been ruled self-defense by police. Roswell police said Tuesday that Brian Jaramillo was shot multiple times Monday morning by his wife inside the business the pair owned in the 1400 block of West 2nd Street. As the officers arrived, they found the woman sitting outside in front of the business holding a handgun. She dropped the pistol as officers arrived. Brian Jaramillo was found dead inside. Now, police say that the wife shot the man in self-defense as he beat and threatened to kill her. New Mexico lawmakers introducing a bill Tuesday that would prohibit local governments and state agencies from contracting to detain immigrants in civil cases with U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and private detention facilities. The bill could unwind contractual agreements that help detain immigrants at 3 privately operated detention centers in New Mexico within close driving distance of the U.S. border with Mexico. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
This is Jason Espinoza with today's Capitol Report. A proposal to prohibit prescribed burns in New Mexico between March 1st and May 31st of any year was tabled Tuesday morning by the Senate Conservation Committee on a 4-3 vote. Proponents of the legislation said the bill is a necessary response to the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, which was the result of a prescribed burn that got out of control, burned more than 340,000 acres, and led to a presidential disaster declaration. However, in an agency analysis, the Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department expressed concerns that a blanket prohibition on prescribed burns in the spring might put at risk the department's ability to fulfill its obligations under federal funding for hazardous fuel treatment within high-priority forests and watersheds throughout the state. Additionally, the State Land Office noted in its analysis that prohibiting prescribed burning during what is usually an ideal window of time to conduct such burns would reduce their agency's ability to achieve their performance targets. Despite the committee tabling the prohibition of prescribed burns during the spring, the Senate Conservation Committee did unanimously pass Senate Bill 6, which seeks to provide $100 million in zero-interest reimbursable loans to local governments to replace or repair infrastructure damaged by fire, flooding, or debris caused by Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire. For the New Mexico News Network, I'm Jason Espinoza.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Following several days of gains, Wall Street retreated at this morning's opening bell. The key average is opening lower. Investors concerned about corporate profits following a mixed set of earnings reports and forecasts from Microsoft and others. The market's also waiting for the Fed to announce its next interest rate hike. That announcement will come on February 1st. Boeing lost $663 million in the fourth quarter as higher production costs and supply chain problems offset rising revenue. Another disappointing quarter for the aerospace giant, yet to recover from deadly crashes involving 2 of its 737 MAX jets and a pandemic that depressed airline demand for new planes until just recently. CSX and Tesla report their earnings later today. Southwest Airlines and American Express will issue their reports later this week. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Listen, you want a pizza? You can get one of those anywhere. But if you want authentic, traditional, brick oven-style pizza, forget about it. There's only one place in town, our Pizza Center in Roswell. I'm talking about authentic pies using authentic ingredients. Plus, pasta, salads, wings, subs, burgers, and a whole menu chock full of your favorites. You can dine in or have it delivered up to 5 miles. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at 505 North Main in Roswell. Or check out RoswellPizzaCenter.com. And hey, mention you heard it on the radio and buy one pizza, get one free. Our Pizza Center, a taste of the old world, right here.
Talk Radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
Widespread damage and injured 3 people. On Tuesday, forecasters issued a rare tornado emergency for the Houston area. Substantial damage was reported east of the city. Lauren Green in Deer Park, Texas says everybody's okay, but the twister was scary. He spoke to KTRK.
All I saw was just black debris rolling around. It was a tornado for sure. I mean, just the way that it just got black and then you could hear it. I mean, it just sounded like a loud rushing. And then this just all just blew in. And as we were getting the back, you could just see all the roof and everything being ripped off and ceiling panels being sucked out.
The tornado also injured 3 people in Louisiana. And the National Weather Service